Are we good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Can everyone hear us? Everyone can hear us? Okay, well, welcome to the Crimson Brush 2023 live judging. This year, we're being judged by Dave Colwell and Natalia, our guest from Poland, and I'm Sebastian. Before we launch into the judging process, we're about to start the live discussion of the entries. We've done a preliminary general cut already, and now we're going to start some really in-depth discussion of each entry. But before we begin, there's something very important I would like to say, which is a big thank you to everyone who entered. This goes from the top to the bottom of the competition. Every entry is equally important, and I think in some ways those entries which might miss out on a medal are the most important, because we can't have a competition without a full spread of entries. Otherwise, the competition is meaningless. So, thank you so much for entering. If you've entered, we have the tough job now of somehow sorting them into gold, silver, and bronze. But all of you, we really appreciate your entries, and they're all equally appreciated by when we judge them as well.
And the general level this year, I think,
it's very high.
Rocketed.
Yes.
Yeah.
The level, yes.
It's amazing.
We've stepped up a long way in the Crimson Brush, and this year it's something completely new. I think not only do we have a huge number, but the whole level has stepped up quite a few notches. So we really have our work cut out for us now. Yeah. Also, by way of introduction into what we look for when we're judging, we have special spirit, I think, in the Crimson Brush, where we like to reward creativity, storytelling, creative risk, or somehow trying something different or new, or putting some of yourself into a miniature. And so we like to reward entries which have tried something. I mean, this is the same for all painting competitions, but we especially, I think, have they're the entries we like to reward most, if I'm putting it the right way. Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, also, of course, we know most of you who have entered the competition, and we're going to have some hard discussions about your entries now. And if we say something negative, we'll try to keep the tone as positive as possible, but the nature of judging is that we need to compare entries, and we need to draw lines between categories.
And this is a very important part of creative criticism, right? Constructive criticism. So we will talk about pluses and minuses. Yeah, exactly. So.
And if we inadvertently offend or say anything unintentionally rude, we don't mean to be. We'll do our best. So wish us luck.
I do mean to be.
Trent does mean to be mean when he's mean.
But you just know he doesn't really mean it.
Yeah. Okay, well, shall we? So how should we go from here, Trent? Trent will bring over some entries.
So Natalia will just move your bunny. Do you want to grab a Compositional?
Okay, so oh my god, you guys.
Yeah, so Seb or Dave's gonna have to hold. Okay. And remembering, yeah, cool.
Okay, so I think if Trent, you could bring over try and bring a few of the. Okay. And maybe some more just the kind of borderline ones, and we can sort of start the discussion there. Okay, so what's your view of these two?
To me, this one's just better.
I think this. Well, let's look at the camera up here so they can see properly.
But
so
it's close.
if we are we at the moment saying this is a sort of a borderline bronze at the moment, where this is the post we will shift. Then if we say this, let's just say this isn't a bronze, just for sake of argument. Why is this one better? This one's well, you can go first.
Technically, the painting is better on this one. I can see from this angle the faces of both of them, and I think the face is a very important part of the model.
Camera's up here, so.
And
yeah,
the face stands out quite a lot on this one to me.
Yeah, so I guess it's general. So what would make something in or out? So I guess the first discussion we need to have is how are we going to draw the line between a bronze medal or a non-bronze medal? So this is, the difference here is, I guess, technique and composition. Yeah, for me there is this, I like the tightness of this face and the shape, where it's, you know, the diagonal, has the diagonal.
I like the element in this one.
Yeah, please.
The general idea of trying to fit the graveyard in, it just seems like maybe it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
So like
For
instead
me,
of
there is
having
some
both
dead
sides
space.
of the fence, you could have just one side of the fence, and instead of
Yeah,
I don't know,
create more drama by having an asymmetry.
I think that this one like has a better composition because first of all the author worked more with the composition of light and shadow, and he created like the spotlight on his head where we instantly look over here, and this is the most intense spot of the miniature, right? So we are instantly drawn there, and also with the shape of this base, he's channeling the composition of the scat, right? Because we are swooped into this direction, right? And over here, I think that it may work, but over here we are missing the light and shadow, and with a spotlight lighting, he could tighten the composition of the graveyard, but everything over here has the same values basically. So we don't get this kind of shaping. And it's like everything is more like all over, I would say. And over here, like we can easily read the composition.
Yeah. So are we thinking? What are you thinking for
this one is
this
in,
one? For what level?
At
Just
least,
usually instinct to the
I
boat, and then we'll adjust.
at least
We just
bronze,
need to.
and it
Yeah.
could move into
I think
silver.
that we could
High bronze.
on the level of the rest.
just put the miniatures in the pool of metals and then evaluate which are golds, silvers,
Okay.
because it's hard, right?
Do you
Right now we
agree
don't
with
have.
that, though? It
I
could move up.
agree. I'm thinking sort of high bronze
Yeah,
at the moment.
it could
So,
move up.
yeah,
It just
and-
depends on what the silvers are.
let's
Right
get
now we
moving.
don't have anything to compare with.
Yeah, that's
basically,
what I
right?
mean. If we start
Yeah.
to just, we can then shift them later. If we start,
This one?
okay. Sorry, I'll try to tilt it so it's behind the camera. For me, this is a similar situation to this in terms of technical. I think it's. I like the color palette. It's got some interesting things happening with the base, but I'm not sure if it's the technicality is up to the level for bronze. What are your thoughts?
You're saying it's out of bronze?
Maybe.
Let me see. Put your front on. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Natalia.
It has a bit of spotlighting like this one.
Sorry?
It's so hard to define
These are the.
exactly
This is
what it
difficult.
is.
These are the close ones. So
Yeah,
this
very,
is why.
very, very close.
I would skip him in the bronze pool, but we
Okay.
can remove him later,
Okay,
right?
we'll
Because
put that at the
Yeah.
on the
Very
cusp.
edge.
So
yeah,
we'll,
yeah, exactly. Because here we have like interesting lighting because it's yellow and the base
Yes.
is greenish blue, and it's something interesting is going on here, right? Like I think that
Yeah,
the,
you're right. Yeah,
the
actually, yes.
light and shadow is not perfect because like values on the axe, for example, from this side and from this side are the same, but here we have less lighting in general, right? So the axe over here should be darker, but it's a interesting.
You're right. The warm lighting is an interesting element. So
yeah,
you're right.
I would keep it,
Okay.
but maybe it will
Okay.
have a medal, maybe not.
Well, let's tell Trent to we'll get Trent to put them back in the order we select. So if we say that's just out,
Yeah.
this is just in, and this is well in
Yes.
to contention. Yes.
So can we put the vampire over on the shelf over there, just to create the space?
Sure.
Camera's saying it's got 2 minutes of life.
Okay.
Okay. Another one.
Next one.
Um,
It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Yeah.
Another close one. Technically, the model, I think,
You can go down.
I think the model, the level of the painting on the model and the non-metallic metals are definitely in bronze, but something about this stained glass window
For me,
lets it down.
if this is in, this is in,
Yes,
because it
yes.
has the same. You know, we said okay, this has the warm lighting and so on.
Yes,
So on.
yes.
So does this,
Yes.
and this is probably
Technically better
Technically
than
better.
that, yeah.
So if this is in, this must be in.
yes, I agree. I think that the backdrop would be better if it had more shadow in the lower part, right? Because like the miniature is already like casting some shadows, and also like we have warmer like basis
Yes,
warmer over here.
I think
and
there's
backdrop.
more kind of atmosphere on the armor than the base is missing
yes,
that
and
sort of.
it's not matching, right?
Yes,
So
which
yes.
is why I would say it's a definite bronze.
Yes,
And if it was to go to silver, it would need those other extension elements, you know,
Yes,
like you said.
exactly.
So
So
that's
you're
it.
looking it?
Clear bronze.
this one.
Now, which of you did put this in?
I thought I put it here. Will you shout at me?
No.
Like I took it because I basically wanted to display it on the stream as a highlight. Because I think that it's very interesting, but it's not for a medal, and we can discuss why
Yes.
not.
Okay.
Right?
Good. Perfect.
So are we
I think
which one's bronze here?
this is borderline bronze, high bronze at the moment, and we've just put this
So
one out.
if you could start moving some away from here, so
Yeah, maybe that can be the cut.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say.
please.
I agree. I think I like the composition. I think I really love that color palette. The green and reds, beautiful, always beautiful together. But it's done in a really nice way with the
but
base.
the finish is not there, right?
the-
Like it's missing some black lining, and you can see that there is a lot
Yes,
of.
and if we
glass.
turn, you know, the back hasn't been treated enough
Yes,
for
exactly.
competition. However, I'm glad you brought it over because it has got a lot of those other elements that we look for in the competition.
Yes,
So
exactly.
this is a good example of not quite being on the technical level to merit a medal. However, it is very high on the creativity and creative sensibility level, I guess, like because it's beautifully
So I would-
painted in
I would
terms of color
encourage
palette.
this person to
Yes.
keep working because they've
Yeah.
got some cool ideas.
A huge potential,
Maybe like not this year a medal, but maybe next year.
And I think it's easier to improve the technical aspect than it is to capture this.
Yes,
This is more
exactly,
special.
because
So
the painter already have the right
That's
line
right.
of thinking, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So very
yeah,
well done.
Very well done.
Here we go. With this one, I think that the base is very interesting because the resin is very well done, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's
And
nice sort of like the rough surface on
the
the top.
contrast between the glossy water and the rest of the model is good. Like I think that the finish, those differences in finish is something that we can all use more in miniatures.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
I think that I like to see that it sets the model up a bit to stand out.
I think it has a nice atmosphere too. So
Yeah.
like it's got a really nice darkness
So this definitely fits in between these two.
I wouldn't agree.
You wouldn't agree?
Yes, because I think that technically it has, it's not as good as, for example, this one, right?
I agree with you. I think it's. Well, you finish, please. Oh, you finished. Yeah. I'm here. This is a borderline for me.
Yes, and I think that technically it's, this one is worse than the guy with the hand, right?
Okay. Well, let's put it at the edge, and these will look back
Yes,
at these.
yes,
So technically, yes, that's true, but compositionally, I think it's but
This is what we'll
let's
talk
keep it
about
on the
when we
borderline.
decide. So these are. I think these we definitely decided we'll get something. These we'll revisit.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
This one first. I think that it's a very pretty painting, but it's very correct also. Like, this is basically a repetition of a box art. And it's nothing wrong with that, like, but it doesn't have that much originality to it.
Yes, I think maybe it's because it's such a characterful sculpture and a lot of here's a good wool.
Yeah, like you see, like it's not very. The painting is a very good technically, but these guys, like after looking at those paintings, I would remember the sculpture more, basically.
Yes, I think maybe this one is better because sorry if they can't see us. The one, this one,
Yeah.
is we're saying is the better one because it's the more has been done with the sculpture in terms of there's much more atmosphere in person especially. It's always hard to know how it's looking on camera.
Yeah.
We can see the camera screen as we're talking, but it's
Even
hard
on
to
camera,
say.
you
But
can see
the lighting.
This has got a spotlight on the
Yeah.
face, and this one.
So it's much more evocative of like a dark environment, or whereas the other is maybe it's good tech. There's nothing. How best to put it? It's missing. Hasn't done something extra special with the
Yes,
sculpture,
yes.
and it's such a kind of characterful sculpture. It really, it's a big tree that needs something done with it.
Yeah,
you know,
but
to,
also like this is like the base. Like I'm not saying that everything should be original, like for any price. But again, like you can always think about doing something interesting with it.
Especially if it's a competition piece.
Yes, yes, and for example, like with this, you could paint like the different seasons on this leaves, right? Or I don't know, create something interesting with the bark.
Yeah.
And like I like this one more.
Yes,
from
but
this
I think
tool.
it's still missing
Yes,
something
yes.
to elevate.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this one, I think that it has like more merit because its facial features are like sharper,
Yes.
and they bring more attention, and they are more interesting in a way, like and that, and also the spotlight. on
Yeah, it's
the
very well executed.
Yeah, and I also think that if the base got more treating, like the tufts were shaded a little bit, just tinted with the airbrush or something, then the atmosphere would be even more.
Yes, I
even
think
stronger.
was
they're
gonna
a
say
bit
that
jarring
about this
because
one.
they're
Yeah, the same.
yeah they're
It's
yes
just tufts and bits of like
Yes.
flock on the base, but they haven't.
yeah it's an opportunity missed in a way.
Yeah, and actually this is a great advice for people when you are putting anything on the base and you are painting the miniature, you should paint the base as well, so the
Yeah.
tufts
Even
improve
the
it.
tufts, you have to paint the
Yes.
tufts
Yeah.
and the flock.
Even just dry brush or
brush,
shade them a little bit.
For me, if we're going to talk about bases for a moment, even though I prefer this space, the issue is that the overall atmosphere of the rest of the figure is quite cold, but the base is still like the grass is very warm
Yes,
and green.
yes.
So I think it's not the
It
right
has a
environment.
disconnection, right?
Yeah, a disconnection.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would maybe put this one on the borderline again.
Yeah, but this one doesn't make it.
Yes, yes.
Can I have a quick look? I think this is it's close.
It is close.
Yeah.
technically good.
Yeah. Okay.
And it,
I'm
just
happy.
a
Yep.
few more things and it might.
This one I think is in. Definite. Yep.
So maybe this one over here, right now?
Ah, right.
I think that this is an interesting case because it's more maybe not simplistic, but it doesn't have that much blending. And also it's very hard to blend out the grays and whites, right? But artistically it's very interesting.
I don't think blending is necessary in every case. It's like, so on a piece like this, I think having no blending actually does the piece better. Like,
I think it could have even had less. I think if it really committed even more to no blending, it would have even been better.
Yeah, more graphic.
Yeah, I like this is maybe a good example of, we said in the introduction that we like to look at creative ideas for a concept. This is definitely trying something. So this is creative risk compared to others we've looked at. Our job now, I guess we need to decide, is the risk paid off or not?
Yes.
I think it has to me, definitely.
Yes. What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's a bronze because there are some extras. It's not just there's some extra details and there's some extra bits put in and attention. The red's quite nicely done. It's got a nice asymmetric sort of lighting, so there's enough happening
I agree.
to reward.
I just wanted to highlight that maybe
please.
not in a positive way, like the painting should at some point complement sculpture or really make it your own. And for this piece I don't understand why the hair are painted in this line and not this line, because the whole the shape of the hair is like flowy and the painting actually is contradicting it. Yeah, it's like the fringe, just the bowl cut. Yeah, but it's a very small detail. I wouldn't dwell on that too much.
We happy?
Yep.
Yeah, so bronze, yes. Next one, maybe this one. First of all, I would say, but it's a very general comment from my side. Planes should complement the bust and the miniatures, and for this case, it's too light, and especially darker print would complement the OSL going over here, and it's
such a dark, moody painting that the very light coloured print is
it's stealing the attention away, and especially we have bright yellow over here. The pole,
the pin,
it's bright yellow as well. So it's basically we have two
fighting
values.
against
And then the light wood. So I think that's in this case you could do better.
I have a dedicated presentation.
But in general, okay. So the back is interesting, right? Because we have lighting coming from here. We have strong shadow over here in the upper area, and then we have again highlight on the lower area, which usually would catch more shadow, right? So this is interesting and maybe an unfortunate artistic decision, right? Because
it could be a secondary light, but then it hasn't been properly established.
Yes, it's not consequential in any other. So no, especially when we are focusing on, I know that I'm showing from the back, right? But when we are painting OSL, we are painting the light basically. So we should
shape
focus
of the
on
shadows must be
exactly.
very important.
Yeah, so this is very important, and here something is missing over here, and also the stuff is not painted very well, not finished over here, right? It should be darker as well over here. And
so do you think
sorry,
is there enough technical.
I don't think so.
I don't
Not
think
quite
so
bronze
either.
for me.
Okay.
I like the idea, and I think that they've shown potential again. And we're probably going to say that a lot, but I really like the idea of having the bird being the source of the light in the scene, and
Yeah, that is a
working with
really
OSL
cool
like
creative
that,
idea. Yeah.
is very, very difficult to pull off right, but I really applaud the attempt. Even if it hasn't been fully technically realised, I like looking at this piece.
And again, like this may not be a medal, but this is one of Cormac's I will remember.
Yeah.
And I think that really matters. And with just a little more finish and like consequences, right? Consequential, like being consequential. Very good English, I know. This would be perfect. So
All they need to do is just keep painting.
exactly
and they're on the
improve.
right path.
Yeah, exactly.
Very close. Yeah. Okay.
So this
the big
one.
Should we hold?
Reptilians. Yeah.
Big one.
So, what are your first thoughts on this one?
Can
Dave?
you show it a bit higher so the people can see it better?
It's a big model,
That
so
can
it stands
yeah.
out.
It's so big. Woodley shining around.
It has some really nice parts, but there are also some areas that stand out to me that's letting it down a bit. I don't.
Just for example, like this over here, right? This. It's like it has a much like lower finish than the maybe.
Yeah, like some of the finish in the scales here stands out, but it's over here instead of maybe pushing up towards the focal point of the model. Because it's visible, they've painted it well, but it doesn't help the composition for me.
There's a lot of
But then
like
this
the sort of
non-metallic metal
instant
is really
visual
nice.
impact.
Yeah.
But then there are some, I guess, when you look at it, start to look more closely, some areas which are a bit not up to the same like technical.
It's strange and it feels a bit inconsistent, I suppose, because of that.
Yes. I think that it's not doing the cut for bronze. And for the future, like especially with so big pieces, when you are painting like non-metallic metal or basically anything else, but non-metallic metal is the best example because when you are painting non-metallic metal, we are painting basically the light, so reflections, right? And you can like clearly guide the composition with the lines you are putting all over the miniature. And over here, like the non-metallic metal has quite random highlights, which are making this whole big piece, which is very complicated sculpture, right? They are making it even more visually complicated. And with such a big piece, you need to bring more order to highlight some elements and hide some other to just make it better readable for the viewer. And I think that it's really missing over here.
And whoever painted this, I'm not sure who did it, but I would like to have the opportunity to give them feedback in person. So if they're watching it here, reach out to me.
Reach out, Dave will destroy you.
Not just
I think so it's so visually, it has a lot of initial visual impact because of this part.
and
It's
that's
nice, the
something that you
green,
want.
non-metallics, but then maybe for me, I think we Natalia, you say it's a bit the readability. Was it you, Dave, or Natalia? There's something
It
about
sounded
the
very intelligent, so it was me.
there's a few there's some technical aspects up right at the front, like this reins here and this part, which aren't sort of, they're quite important. And for me also, like the face and this part is sort of some like important bits are lost.
Yes, they
And
are.
because of there's so much impact here, it's sort of
Yes, you have bright spot over here, but who cares about this spot on this card?
Yeah.
Like maybe head of the lizard is important, and then the
And you can
character,
create an arrow, like maybe even in here, you can create an arrow like pointing towards her, so that their eye will follow the way up there.
I think this is one. It's it will look. It might be hard to understand if you're just watching the video because I think it will look really.
It looks
It
better
looks
on the video.
nice on the screen,
video.
but in
Sorry.
when
Fucking hammer him, don't
Ray,
ignore him, fucking tell him how it is.
yeah, that maybe the consistency is what we discussed.
No, I
So
just want to
it's
say
closer.
that this is a really good piece to catch the viewer's attention while it's on the shelf. And when you want to create a competition piece, you really want to do that, catch people's eye. But then the next step after that is when you pull them closer,
Yes,
you
exactly.
have to back it up.
Follow
And
through.
unfortunately, it's got some elements that aren't backing it up once it pulls you closer. So
Yes.
if you can mix those two things together,
Right. Yeah, right. Okay, decided.
Trent's giving us the hurry.
Yeah.
This is a no. Is that what we're
This is a
saying?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, like a 2-hour
That's a close.
conversation just to say no. Okay. Okay, so this one.
I like this.
Like this is a example of a piece that has not a lot of contrast, like not without any stronger
Yes.
highlight, but actually it's drawing me into this sculpt because
It's
so
almost the
calm.
opposite to the one we just looked at because
Yes.
it's the face is very it's got a real subtlety which the more you look the more you can appreciate it.
And I almost feel like the person who did this has put little gems in the eye.
Yes, and because this is a great contrast between the yellows and the blue in the eye. Yeah. So I know for me it's a bronze.
Which one?
What do you think?
Yep.
I think the color palette's really delicate and beautiful as well.
Yes.
And it fits the model well, yeah.
And this is example of a piece like you don't always have to go ham with the contrast, right? You can just put it here and there and it will work. Okay, so I think that this one deserves a highlight, but I don't think that it's a medal like right now, especially when compared to the other stuff we already have.
It's I think I'm having trouble deciding on this one because I like the we talked at the start about taking a creative risk or something, and this has taken we like the Pied Piper
Yes.
with the red and white. So this is similar idea, but it's even when we looked at the Pied Piper, we said maybe the sort of shading could be even more rough and it might fit even more. And this is sort of an example of that, where these I find these black lines quite interesting and unusual. However, I'm not sure if I
This
think
might be
maybe
an example of going too far the other way.
yeah, maybe if that was mixed with the pink seems maybe like a little patchy or loose. Like maybe if the pink was really tight and focused, like the color, and as a contrast against the kind of rough,
And
it would be.
I also think that the black lines are great, like graphic addition, but they should be like more even and more aesthetically, like aesthetically higher. Because right now they look a little bit random, and with this stuff, that is very graphic and very geometric, like the gracefulness really matters. And I think that it's lost over here a little bit. But
It's a good one to look at because it's
I wonder
different and
if-
interesting, and I like that. But
I wonder if this pink was painted using just one paint, and
I think that it's white underpainting and then
Pink
fluoro.
fluoro, yeah.
Yeah, and fluoro is very. I think that the coverage is a little bit patchy because fluoro is really
very
to
hard.
find.
So I wonder if it. I'm personally not a proponent of restricting my palette, but maybe this artist chose to just use only those two things, and they've done well with that, with what they've had available there. But I think it would work for them to allow maybe just a pink paint to go under the fluoro, just to build it a structure,
Yes.
and then put the fluoro on top.
okay, we must move on. Sorry to be the one.
So no.
Trent's poking me saying, hurry up. This is, I know artists who painted this, and this is a massive improvement.
Yeah, this is a bronze for me.
So much so that it's
Okay,
I
so
think a
bronze.
bronze. It's such a big step up. There's still some refinement in terms of technical painting. Well, we
volumes.
agree, I think, volumes. But I like there's something happening with the blue underlighting. The general lighting is quite
I think that
good
the,
and interesting.
The spotlight is interesting,
Yeah.
but also the color of the skin,
Yeah.
which is like more of the purple one, which is not very realistic, but because we have a very strong underlight in blue, it just kind of works. I just wish that it had more continuation on the
Yes.
non-metallic metal, because usually metal reflections like display it even more, and here it's quite flat. But
Yeah,
anyway, it's
and
very
also with the helmet too.
Yes, like there is no shadow over here, right? And it should be. Yeah, but anyway, it's a very interesting piece, and I really like these colors.
Great. Well done.
Oh, and we have like the shadows painted over here.
Yeah, the hard
I
shadows.
think
cast
it's,
shadow under the
That's it.
face.
Yeah, that's an interesting element too. So I like that.
Yeah, so
Keep
we're-
improving.
Well done. Keep it
At
keep
this
it going
rate,
the right
we'll be
direction.
going
Yeah.
silver next year.
Bronze has to be the bronzes when you're ready.
Okay, I really appreciate this one because it's very creative with the shield and the font, right?
Look at the top of these.
Oh, great! I love it. Yeah.
I really like the colors in the face as well. And there's some very interesting,
The purple
and
and the
unusual. The purple, but also the blue under the chin. It's an unusual combination, and it looks it's well executed.
Silver?
Near silver, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Let's put it at the edge and we'll just discuss. So yeah,
I think this is an example of a piece where the technique is a little bit like put up with the creativity.
yes.
Yeah, so
I agree. Yes.
over here.
Back's as good as the front.
A guy with the sport hands.
I quite like this one. Again, I know the artist quite well, but for me this has it's quite a subtle piece, but there are a few interesting things happening. I think with the if you look under his neck and chin, there's an interesting kind of green glow which is carried down to the other hand. The face is nicely executed. Everything's quite well executed.
It is well executed, but I kind of hate this
That
black and white on the under. I think that everything else has way more finish than the clothing and the leotard.
and something that stands out to me is the cloak. It feels like it may not be, but it feels like it's just been zenithally primed, and it looks that way to me. I wish it had some green in the shadows.
yeah. I think the thing that's maybe missing from something like this, which to really elevate it, like the technique is good, but to elevate it's missing. Like I said, the coat is sort of the same all over. The bones are the same. Sort of
They've done it in the
everywhere.
skin on the face. They've got the green if they just
Yeah, if there were more other hues or different value levels or something introduced to these parts, it will lift the whole thing.
Just adding the green from underside,
Yeah.
it would like
Yeah.
make this magical basically. So I don't know, but I think that it's still matches in bronze, right? So I would maybe in the middle.
We can get into trend.
This is a bronze.
So are these.
So maybe this one next.
I can't look at this one.
I wanted to include this one on the stream just to highlight it because the painting is a little bit too simplistic. I think it's more like the sculpture is doing most of the job over here. But anyway, I like the painting, and I really like this cut.
It's beautifully painted, but I mean it's very simple. I think the reason we're maybe not including it in the medals is because it's so a bit too simplistic,
Yes,
but it
it's
does suit
most
the
of the
sculpt
airbrush,
so well.
right?
Yeah,
And we are looking for something more.
Yeah.
So
but it's still beautifully.
it highlights. And this one, I know the author of this one, and I won't be objective. So please go ahead.
Well, what do you think? I haven't seen this sort of. This is quite intriguing to me. The way the helmet has been painted. It's so unusual.
Reminds me of Kaha.
It's
Reminds me of Kaha, yeah.
Also, I really like this zebra skin texture on the back. There's another unexpected little. It's nice to have a treat when you turn around the back of a miniature, because normally it's something which, well, often it's something which can be neglected. So it's nice to have something extra there. And the very sharp way the face has been painted is quite interesting to me too. So for me, there's enough.
Yeah, that's
Interesting, unusual, creative, and really it has a lot of visual impact, which is after all is the point. So that's a definite medal for me. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I agree. I was just going to say that the finish is kind of satin all over, and I kind of would like it could even go higher for me if it wasn't just so satin all over. I wish they had used some different finishes because that could help elevate it, I think. I don't know exactly how.
Go on.
But
but yeah, tick. I like it very much. Definitely. You can put it here. We can just have it. We'll have another look, and then. Let me try. Bronzes, yeah.
Some Mr. Health or South. This one, I think.
I say Celt. You say Celt.
Felt? Yeah.
Celt.
Okay, so Health. I think that this one has a nice composition because the highlight is going from here, and it's also opening the painting with the sculpt, which is going in this way, right?
That's true, and the base, the roots
goes over here. So it's a very beautiful composition. I just I would like to see the same amount of highlight shown on the base, right? Because the base is painted anyway, and I feel like highlights going through the branches and on the front.
It's the same thing as not painting the tops. It's sort of you need to paint the branches, and it has been, but it needs a little bit more.
Yeah, my issue is the base is again it's a totally different palette to the figure, and I mean that can work for you, but I think it's quite cold. It's blue, it's got the purpley flesh and the blue and green tongue and the blue pants. So everything's cold, and it's quite a very warm sort of.
I think that it would be enough if the author just took some of the greens from the base and just painted it on the bottom of the trousers.
Yeah,
and the shield. I think that it's something of the greenish tint, there is some of it on the shield, but it would be more.
Can we see the back?
It is painted, and it has a stripe. The top over here stands out very much, completely unpainted, right? And it's hidden under the rock, and it's or it could be shaded, right? And it would be tied with the base.
So where do you come down with this one?
I'd have to put that with these. It could go into silver.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
It depends on where the line for silver is, though. Because it may end up being just right in the middle of bronze, but it really depends on where we come down on some of the others, I think.
So here?
You gotta guess it.
Too many pieces over here.
Are they like one?
Mr. Bunny.
I like this one.
I like it, but I don't like that it has stronger highlight over here and it's darker over here, right? Like it's
Well, this is quite light as well.
That's probably too
yes,
much.
yes.
I think now it's
I really like the fur.
Yeah.
It looks really great. It's a really like fantastic looking fur texture, and the eyes are really
Yes,
nice.
very nice painted.
I'm not. The green coat is. I'm in it. You know, from a technical point of view, I'm not sure if it's. You know, not everything's technique, and we talked about that at the start. But I'm not sure if it's technically up the standard.
Yeah.
Me
we
neither.
require.
But otherwise, it's very nice. It's close. It's very nice, but I think that again, it needs a bit higher finish, right?
Yeah.
Like more like concentration, like consistency, right?
Yes.
With the lighting and stuff like that. But maybe
Or maybe something extra, another element, or if not the technical, high technical level, maybe some other extra thing. But,
yes, exactly. So no.
yeah.
Mr. Liam Hemsworth. I think that this one actually looks worse on the camera than
Yeah, I agree.
he has like piercing eyes, first of all, and I like them a lot. And there is like the interesting spotlight shown also into the shadows.
The painted shadows. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice, really great.
I like that. I like the. I'm torn with this one because the face is fantastic, but the coat is.
very down the line.
I mean, are they like 3D printed?
Yes, they are.
So
I mean, it's a texture from the sculpture.
all right.
Yeah.
And these buttons haven't really been.
Yes.
It looks just a little. It's not of the same. How can we put it? Not of the same level as the face.
Also the medallion, right?
Yeah.
Here we have very well painted, and the medallion over here. Here we have very well painted, like atmospheric light, and
Yeah.
it's not shown at all in
Yeah.
any of the metals
Yeah.
on the sides. Yes, so no, for me it's at least bronze, but we would have to compare it to other works in silver.
I think we need to put it on the edge and talk about it again.
Yeah,
I think it's.
I also
I don't
want to
mean
point out
to be-
again the plinth.
Oh yes,
and
yes,
this,
yes.
And the pin.
Yeah.
I feel like with this piece, it's another one of those ones where
Yes,
it's
I
attracting
agree.
contention away from the model.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit this theme.
Yes, like maybe the pin is not that bad, but the rod.
pin.
is just
Yeah, the rod.
strong.
In my eyes, there are a few. There are just some elements which I'm finding hard to overlook, like that, especially the coat. And we did
I agree.
ping a couple of things because they seem unfinished in some way, and it's not that it's unfinished, but it just hasn't been
So
treated.
it doesn't matter if it's to a lower level, if it's part of the idea. Like you can use resolution across the model, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
seem finished.
So, unless you two feel strongly,
I'm not strongly
It's not painted about it. Like,
Yeah.
let's
yes. So I think I'm not sure.
Okay, I can agree.
It's very close.
the face
The face
is
definitely.
definite.
The
Like,
face
that
is.
could be even silver.
Yeah, definitely. The face is would be a conversation for silver, but for a competition, we need more consistency.
This one is interesting because definitely like the shadows on her face face are very intense, but there is no consistency with the shadows over anywhere else on the scalp.
Yeah, the
basically.
lighting's quite
Yeah.
inconsistent.
Or maybe the blush on her face was a random decision maybe, but it's really making the rest of the bust very flat.
Yeah, it's a pity because I quite like the idea of such a limited palette is always interesting, and the
catches the eye
extra
on
like
the
detail
shelf
elements
especially,
they're all great, and the face it's painted. It's painted well. It's just as you said, the lighting is
Actually, the values on her face and the shadow and the lighting and lack of everything of the same thing anywhere else, it just I don't know, just amount of detail on the face makes everything else much flatter.
In the same way as the
Yeah,
previous
and
one.
also like when we are painting for a competition, right? So we are
Yeah.
aiming for a higher finish. This thing over here,
yeah. This
It
all
should
the
be
underside of the mug and the
painted.
sleeves. Yeah, I guess it is. We just said that about Geralt, didn't we? So maybe
Doesn't make
it's
it.
like the face could be. The face is definitely great.
Yep. And,
And other
silver
elements,
level
yeah.
Again, yep. And I love this idea of like having the bottle just hanging.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's a cool idea.
yeah, just a bottle of
Execution is
alcohol.
not quite there yet.
Yeah. Which is a shame. It's a shame. It's very close.
Very, very close.
This one. I dislike the rosy finish on the head, on the base. And I think that the base is dragging the whole attention down from this guy because he's actually better painted than this head on the base, but it's yellow over here.
Saturation.
Very
Yeah,
eye-catching.
saturation. So we first thing we see is this very ugly demon, right? I mean, it's a just like
Yeah.
as a
They
character.
clash.
Yeah, and then we go higher to see the barbarian, which is actually quite well painted, but the composition is completely off.
The miniatures painted. Beetle Trigger is a very good friend of mine. Painted this one,
Yeah.
but the miniature itself is painted in a really classic way. I think to a really great level for a 30mm miniature.
Yep.
I agree with the base is a huge distraction though. I'm not sure which way to go though, so I'll leave this one to.
I think it can be a bronze.
I mean, the
I think
painting
it's a
level
bronze.
is good
Yeah.
overall. It's the what do we talk? It's the what's the problem? The composition.
Okay, I think that if we didn't give bronze to get out, I wouldn't give bronze to this.
Have a look.
Because this one, overall, is less consistent.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's put it. Can we look at some of the other 32mm miniatures? Let's compare. Let's put this one here. I think I agree with you, but let's compare just some. Let's look at the small miniatures and get a. Maybe we can get a gauge on
Because
what's
we get a
what
borderline of what the smaller stuff is.
the smaller ones medals for.
So this one, that's excellent. There's two to me, but everyone knows I'm biased too.
Oh, sorry, I'm not showing it. Sorry.
As soon as I realized how many there were,
So, okay, this is a medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Again, it's very Kaha-like. I would say it has a cool atmosphere from the cooler atmosphere from the bars and
Yeah.
warm
I think it's a high silver.
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah,
at least.
over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, high silver at least, but
Yeah.
it depends on where the.
And this Mr. over here. This one is very good as well.
Yeah, it's really got such an intense sort of lighting and
Good example of good light composition,
Yeah.
right? And with the corresponding non-metallic metal.
Different colours.
yeah, I really
in the
like
metal.
those different colours in the axe. Makes it sort of extra special.
And seeing some like red reflection in this back bit of the axe as well.
Yeah.
I really like it.
And
It's
some
nice. It's a gold.
sort of blue reflecting on the underside of the legs and things. And I like it's a nice, warm and classic sort of warm and cold contrast base.
The base is
They
actually
work.
very well done because the eyes are very good eyes.
Yeah.
They look like
Yeah,
Even the red is like it's a warm color, but it's a
it's a
cold
the
red.
cold environment. It doesn't break the
Yeah,
cold
and
environment.
also, the red is very well contrasted by the blues in the
Yeah.
base. So this is great example of how the base is complementing the model and making it look even better. So for me, this is gold.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Also on a technical note, it's
Yes,
all
yes.
everything's painted technically perfectly.
This one,
Wait till you feel.
I think that this one
not quite as high level.
is painted quite okay, but it's not very distinctive. Like it doesn't have anything interesting in the composition.
It doesn't have those the things we just mentioned about the previous ones, like the different hues in the axe blade and the reflection from the base and those sorts of things. The intense sort of lighting is the difference. Like it's all painted really well.
Like they could have
Yeah.
some reds.
Well, I also liked on the previous one the way that the ground was slanted, which made it more dynamic. Whereas the ground is flat. Whereas I
Especially
think
for a dynamic model
such a
like that.
dynamic model would look nice with a diagonally sort of sloped space or something. But overall, I mean, it's painted. It's the technique is good.
Yep.
And everything, there's no like weak areas particularly. So what do you think?
High bronze.
For me, it's a pass. I wouldn't give any medal.
You think no?
No. Just because when we are putting a piece in a competition, it needs to be like do something interesting in any way. And
Sure. And we
I
did.
think that Space Marines are a hard pick because you really need to do something special with the base because they are so simple models.
You're right. They're a special case, aren't they? Because they're
Of course, I'd
there's
say it's a high bronze.
so many space marines that you really need to
Sorry
do
guys
something.
for contrary.
Okay.
Well,
but
let's
it's
put
just
it.
my opinion,
Let's
right?
just put it there. Yeah. And who's next? This one?
Yeah, I really like this one, and especially the little detail here with the light, like the sparkles, right? I think it's very interesting. Like again, the strongest highlight goes on the breast, which is very interesting choice, right? It could also go to the face, but overall, I like the spotlight highlight, and the lighting over here is interesting. I think that because this is like a magic lighting, that it doesn't have to have this consequence of OSL, basically. But I think that some OSL would be welcomed around because it's just so shiny object, right?
And it does seem like it is OSL. I can't tell for sure though. So, I mean, I think the whole light of the whole thing, it could be OSL, but I'm not sure, and that's something that I'm marking it down for because I can't tell.
You mean is the light all coming
Is the
from
light
here,
coming
or
from
is it
here or not?
like-
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of. I mean, if it was all coming from here, though, it would need to be much darker up. Like it wouldn't really even reach her face, would it?
Yeah.
So it's
That's
a
true.
complicated one.
It is complicated.
But again, like
Do you think the I mean, this
there's
this
so much
angle is
light
nice.
on
Do you
her
think
leg
it's
there.
enough has been? I know the back isn't. It's not that the back isn't as important. The back, okay, we can let some things go on the reverse, but do you think there's too much?
I think if there
Left.
won't be, I think that we have enough levels in bronze, like which are very very good, and that this one wouldn't pass. But if we have at least with lower level, this definitely could go.
This is a definitely.
Go with these, I think. Unless you're on.
Oh yeah, it can.
Okay, we'll put it there. This we'll revisit just very quickly. We'll come back and revisit.
Mr. Manda.
And have a close look. These are hard. You need to kind of hold them yourself and have a close look. My first instinct is that it's a bit. The lighting needs to be more dynamic or something. It's a bit
Monotone.
a bit dead.
The volumes haven't been.
If we're going to say something like this has quite dynamic and nice
Yes,
eye-catching lighting, which is missing from here.
I think these might be
I
by
don't-
the same artist.
Right. I don't think if this one isn't, I don't see how this one could be.
Yes, I would pass on that.
Yeah.
But a really nice try, like the detailing is very nice.
I like
Oh,
the
yeah.
sparkling in
Yeah,
the
the
smoke.
sparkling.
Yeah, I like
Right.
those little touches in
Yes,
this one
yes.
for sure.
So this
I
is
mean, these
really
are
nice painting.
hard because these are really solid and good paintings.
What's your position on that one?
Pass.
I think we're
Good.
passing,
Yep.
but we'll just make
Yep,
sure.
that's a pass.
That's a
Yep.
pass.
Okay, so I like this one a lot, but I find it interesting that the strongest highlight goes over here. It should, again, it
Yeah.
should go
Yeah,
somewhere
of course.
over here. But the painting is really nice, and I think that the base, which could again be a little bit toned down with some
Yeah,
darker
and
colors, it's like very
They need to paint the
charmful.
stuff again
Yes.
more on the base, like especially these red and orange leaves or whatever flock they've used for that. It doesn't seem like they've painted those.
I think that the technique is a level higher than the couple we just looked at though. So it's
But the-
Yeah, this is
so
a
it's,
silver. for
it
me.
has some. I agree with Natalia that the highest lighting is in a strange place, and for me, I would say there's a lot of detail on a small small area. Everything's being painted really well, but there's no, they're clear always with a miniature. The focus should be here, and there's nothing to.
Silver, not gold.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's a zero because the work should be consistent and the base is bronze for me. So I think that it's throwing it level down.
Okay. So we
Let's
put that
put
on
it-
a high bronze.
Okay.
This is high bronze, isn't it? So let's put it here.
But do you
and then
think that
we
it
will-
matches over here with this base? Like look at this base and this base.
You're right. It's the base. The figure is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but-
figure is almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The figure's
Figure's silver for sure. Yeah. Yep. Okay. High bronze. Should we just decide that as high bronze now? Then I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I think the painting is silver, but the base is holding it back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bronze.
Alright,
Yeah.
so do you want to make calls on those as well?
Not yet. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. Soon.
Okay, so this one, I have a problem with it being broken, but I'm not sure if we should take it under
I really like the colours on this one.
Yeah, they are really like
This is one that stood out on the shelf for me. I like it.
this blue, strong blue over here just creates the atmosphere, right? And it complements the yellow over there. So I like this one very much. But again, I'm not sure if it's because I think that the contrast between yellow and blue creates so strong impression on us. We didn't look on the it's just
Yeah, it's not
airbrush
finished
on
at the
side.
back and there's certain
also-
lines that could be picked out a bit more and it
Yes, and
help.
on the front, like if you will tilt it, like over here you can see that there is no painting down.
Yeah.
So I think that
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's
It's that artistic idea that we've
it's got so
mentioned a
much
few times.
atmosphere and really a beautiful painting from this angle, but because this is a competition in person where you're twisting it around and seeing
Yes.
Cutting?
other areas.
Yeah, I don't think it makes it for me. Just because it's the certain parts
No.
are just not finished.
Bronze?
Pass.
Pass.
You mean
Pass. Yep, done. Thank you.
Are you okay with that? You're not okay with that?
All
Turn it
right.
around,
Don't.
Is that a
you know,
bronze?
but it's like only.
No, well, only.
It's you have like two colors airbrushed, one on top of
Okay,
each other,
okay,
right?
okay.
So it's.
Turn it around, Seb. Turn it around.
I know,
Don't
but
make
it's
it-
so nice.
Yeah,
Turn it
for-
around, Seb.
I think that is a
I'm
good
very
model
frustrated
to.
by it.
I think
Yeah,
that is a
yeah.
great
It
model
has
to
so
highlight.
much
It's a
potential.
silver
Like,
at the front and it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
dog shit at the back.
and it's not just the back because like you can see
Yeah.
these areas that aren't done when I
Okay.
look at it from the front.
Guys, I can
Alright.
encourage you. If you don't want to paint the back, just paint a smiley face.
Yeah.
It will like make it just a impression that something was done there.
That's straight gold for me.
I would put it between gold and high silver and gold
Yeah.
for a consideration, and especially like see like. We are talking about gold, the
Yeah.
perfect finish to be done, and here you can see even the rim of the base wasn't completely painted, and it's like strangely glossy. It's see,
And I have a bit of a pet peeve about sand.
you guys like
It's coarse, it's irritating, it gets everywhere.
made in Japan.
And it doesn't
so we
look
at least
at, it
know where
doesn't
it
look
comes
at the
from.
same scale as the rest of everything because it's like big grains of sand that needs to have more variation or
Yeah,
something.
I actually like to create the difference. I like to use a pepper, grainy
Yeah.
pepper, just on top, just to create more texture. So that's
Yeah,
why
for
I
me-
think that it's a more of a
But this
silver.
background is really striking. I don't know if it comes across in the video, but it almost feels like it moves as you turn it.
Yes, yes,
That's really, really well painted.
yes. So I think
Stands
that's.
out. But maybe the background is overshadowing everything else.
Well,
I-
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say I think we can't.
Yeah, it's a
As
silver.
cool as the
It's a
background
silver,
is, we
yeah.
can't. It's not. It's one element.
Yep. Yep.
It's spectacular, but the
So we can.
I'm with you. I think the base. Yeah, maybe if there was more done with the base.
Yeah, and so we can encourage the author to go deeper into the painting and like
Yes.
explore more, artistry and technique next year. And I think that with this kind
That is a
of
high
artistic
silver.
merit, yeah,
Silver?
silver.
I'll take that. I'll start silver claw.
Okay, what's next? Too much to pick from. Maybe this one. So this is a nice attempt of OSL, but again, it's not painted that well because we have like a line of highlight going through the middle, and it wouldn't work this way.
Yeah.
So
It's a thing that people do, like coming from painting
The same,
miniatures.
the same person, the same artist.
The creases.
I
Like, when you
think
do a wash on a model, the creases go dark, and I feel like all of the creases on this model are dark, but that's not necessarily how the light falls, and that
Yeah.
breaks things up for me.
I think if you're going to do OSL on a simple figure like this, then it needs to be like
Very
you commit more
effective.
committed.
Yes,
Like
yes,
it's sort of half there, but it's not.
But I like
it's,
I like that half there because it's not a very strong
okay,
light
sure.
source. But I know what
But
you
then
mean.
where's the, we're painting for a competition. Where's the the big,
I
the
don't know where I think
contrast
this
or the,
falls. Though. Is it bronze?
yeah.
no, I don't think so.
Not even into bronze.
No, because
That's a pass as well.
yeah.
I left it out.
I want to highlight the
Kids blocks.
block, yeah, fireman, yeah, very cool.
So I just think this line that's in the middle of that highlight
Yeah.
is just wrong. Right?
Yeah,
No, that's
this-
that's
the-
it. You're
yeah,
out
yeah.
because of that. Straight up.
Also, we can't get always impressed. We can't be always impressed by OSL, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is cool. I like it a lot. I think that it's, for me it's either very high bronze or silver. Just
I
because
agree.
I think that the non-metallic metal could have more colors hidden into it, and this
Yeah, I agree,
again you
yeah.
have two colors of highlights over here. You have yellow everywhere and then white only on the non-metallic metal, and it's not consistent, right? So
So they're quite set. They're sort
Yes.
of quite. It's like too distinct from each other. Like there's two separate elements.
Yes.
You know, there's this part and that part.
and
There's not.
actually the highlights in the non-metallic metal are so strong, like you have two strongest points over here and over here, and they are just going around the face, right? And just highlighting a little bit stronger the nose and the brow would make it more, I don't know, like logical.
Yeah, I think it's
It'll
quite a
balance
big
things
area.
a bit
So the helmet's quite a big zone, and that that
It's very hard
you
to
need to
balance
do
that.
something more with it. Maybe if you're going to go up to
White.
no, I mean up to silver gold area.
Oh yeah,
You need
you
to
don't
kind
think
of-
it's a silver.
No, I think silver. Okay, it's on. Well, we'll.
Okay. Yeah,
If you- if
that's
you
fine.
want-
If it's border.
If you want to put
Well-
this one in silver, I think that this one should be at least high silver / gold.
Well, that's. I think the difference
I like this
here
one
is-
better than this one.
That's a good example.
Oh,
I
really?
think there's
I
a.
like this one more.
I think they're similar. I think they're similar. They're different, but they're similar in terms of where they should lie.
Okay.
I think I like the artistic sort of sensibility of this
Yeah.
one, which is, if you look at there's this sort of softness in the lighting which is
Yes,
missing.
But it also comes from better technical finish over here. And you can see that here the transitions are a little bit better.
and turn it
Can we
around.
see?
It's not done.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not
going down to
even,
bronze.
Even not a
Yes.
smiley face.
So,
There's
I
a
think
bronze.
bronze.
Which one? Oh, this one. This one is interesting. Right? When you will get 122 years old, you will
Look like
that.
this.
Yeah.
So this one looks like it's really good, but then when you get close, it loses something. Like,
Yes, because from far away you are focused on the lighting spotlight on this robot, and then you can see that the crowds are not highlighted at all,
Yeah.
and that the base is mostly painted in general
think-
and not in a detail.
I really like the concept behind this. I think it would be. It's an opportunity to have a base that's really kind of overgrown and hidden, and sort of you tell the story in that way. It's almost needs. We've just talked about miniatures that need an extra kind of pizzazz or something more, and this is an interesting entry because it's about the base more than others that we've looked at.
yeah. Well,
And
it
so-
really is just kind of
Yeah,
a base.
it's a base. So then
I like
the
that.
base is. I like that too, but I think the base needs more of that,
More attention.
like more like growth and growing elements or something.
So I don't think that
Or-
even reaches bronze.
I like it though.
I think
You
that
think?
yeah. I think that if you want to give a bronze to this marine, then I need bronze for that, and I will
I
fight
think it's
for
a
it.
bronze because it's got a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. And it's something different. We just said it's different from the others.
Yes. So bronze. Yes, please. Great. And you see, like here we have a Warhammer model with a badass base. Yeah, so it's really interesting, and I like how the author used the yellow base to create.
Yes, me too. That's
highlights.
the most. That's the part I like the best. Actually, I think that's really effective.
And see, like,
And I like
how-
the
how,
unusual shape and that like the length. You don't often see a base which is big but effective. Normally, when
Yeah.
bases get too big, I think they lose effectiveness.
Yeah.
But this time, it's because of the shape, it suits it.
And
Sort of adds something
it's
dynamic.
simple,
Yeah.
so
Because
the
it's
model still stays the focus, and it's good.
And I should say, we have said a few times that the base, like palette or atmosphere, doesn't suit the figure. Now in this case, that's also true, but it's sort of intentional. Like it's a figure which is meant to seem out of place, which sounds like a contradiction from what we said before, but it's the subject.
But because the base is reflected in
That's
the painting,
exactly
it just
it's carried on
fits.
as another
Yeah.
layer onto the.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but I have to say that this base, which is like brilliant, elevates the model a lot. Like
Yeah.
the painting, is especially over here.
I agree.
think.
Now, where does this rank though? Silver?
I don't know. Low silver.
It's okay.
High bronze?
This is if this one's high bronze still.
No, I would give it to silver.
You think that's drifting to silver?
Yeah.
And what's this one?
That's why, to be honest, I would
Not
prefer
sure.
keep all of these models on the desk because we
Yeah.
could compare it
So
immediately.
something that I can think of that would elevate this is when I look at this front on, it's black. If this was cut
Yeah,
down into
yeah,
here and you could see
Yeah,
more
yeah,
of the
you're right.
sand from the
I
front.
agree. I agree.
But I think that's also the height of the base. Like, this is a poorly sized base for the
is.
subject, right? It should be here,
Yes.
and then that becomes less of an issue.
Yeah.
But what are you guys leaning on?
I
that
feel like the
silver?
composition, if they just cut this
that
bit,
out, yeah.
cut this here, and it's sand going into this part of the dune.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Instead of
slanted
two even,
towards us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could elevate it
I
higher.
have a closer look at the.
Painting is nice, very nice.
But again, painting is elevated by the base, and we are like, I think that if we were looking only on this model, it would go to bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low
I think-
silver for me comes from the base actually, but I
Yeah.
would give it to bronze.
That's on the border of silver and bronze
Yeah.
to me.
Okay. Okay.
So we keep it on the table.
I would keep it.
Okay, let's
yeah.
keep it. We're saying this seems to be drifting up. So
Drifting up.
yeah, to silver, right?
Yeah, and this is like
That's definitely
goldish.
yeah, goldish area.
Yeah. So the angered doggo, not a good boy.
I wish there was
I
more
like-
red on the front.
Yes.
I
from the-
understand it's meant to be going away from the fire. I think all the red on the back. Yes.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just
I
wish there was a
understand that
little bit
concept
more
that he's
visible.
going into the cold
Because
away
it would
from the fire,
reflect
but
off elements in the scenery
Yeah,
back
it's-
up onto him. Even if it's just
even though
on
it
the
sort of
bottom.
makes sense,
And
it does
if
seem
if it's
strange.
so strong because he
Yeah.
would be surrounded by the fire
Yeah.
at some point, right? Because the stuff over
Yeah,
here,
you're right.
It,
That's
it
right.
is right. So it should be much stronger
Yeah.
and actually even present from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a nice try, I would say.
I still like
It's
it
a good yeah.
Yeah, but I think that the background needs a higher finish because it stands out like the painting
I
of the
think-
miniature and the background is.
I think the background is too small. It's too narrow, or something. Is that what?
Yeah,
It's-
if he's surrounded by the fire,
Yeah.
he should be surrounded by
would be
the.
Or they need maybe like it needs to be angled or something. Like it's
Instead of it
too
being
square.
flat, it could be like a bowl.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
coming to the sides as
Yeah.
well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that is a very nice, like artistic.
Again, the fur is really
I don't think that it's going doing the bronze.
Not bronze.
may have a.
If we cut that, we've got to cut a heck of a lot of other ones.
Okay, so you can keep it in bronze, but I really think that the level of painting on the
Background,
and the miniature is not consistent. And if you give a background to something, usually the background is cheating us a little bit because we think that it's more than
Yeah.
it actually is.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, yeah. So if the background wasn't there, let's judge
Pass.
it.
If the background wasn't there, I think it's bronze.
The background is there, and it's poorly executed.
It
It's a
is.
pass.
Yes.
Okay.
You go, Trans.
All right, it's close.
You're going to have an element
Well-
that needs to be at the
Elevating.
same level as every other
Well,
element.
then we can't. We can't. They have to be gone too. Do you think?
Yes, I agree.
And I'm not. totally sold on that. We'll have another talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me just provide some context. The overall level of painting on this is probably bronze. This is rubbish. The overall level of painting on this is probably bronze or higher. And there's the other elements. I mean, the base on this, the base on that's probably weak. That one is possibly high.
Yeah,
But
so means
I think that's a bronze because that's a holistic piece. This element looks.
Sure, it does have the
Yep. Right. Whereas this just stands out. And it doesn't have any value.
Looks like you run out of time to me.
Yeah, but also if a building's on fire, it doesn't change its colour. It doesn't become orange. You know? So
well, it becomes like maybe it becomes more orange if there is a little literally like a hell.
but where's the fire? So that is detracting from the overall bronze level of painting.
Yeah, take the background away completely, and it might be a bronze.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next one. I like the contrast, the color contrast.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, but for me it's a very clean double painting, basically.
Tabletop.
And I'm not sure if it's. I don't know. Maybe you could give it a bronze, but I'm not sure because other works have more.
Yeah, it's like a super tabletop.
Yeah,
It's like
this
a
is just
well, it's
treated
better than
with
tabletop.
some-
It's like a super
Yeah.
kind of plastic.
And it
miniature
looks
painting,
nice,
yeah.
it's very effective, but
Yeah.
this thing over here is very cool, but it's not painted. And again, here we have, like, is it not metallic metal? Here we have like a pattern on.
True metallic metal.
Okay.
I think this is painted with metallics as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
you,
yeah.
you see like here it's shaded and it's more interesting.
Yeah.
And over
Yeah,
here
it's
it's
missing.
just base coated. So I think that this is cut. What do you think?
May I have a closer look?
It's close.
Yeah. Well, what's your? I don't know. I find these very difficult to place because it's so like.
It's a gaming piece entered into a painting competition.
Yes,
It's a bronze.
I don't.
What do you think, silver? Cut.
Yes.
Okay.
I think bronze though.
Yeah.
I think bronze.
Yep.
I think it's. I agree, but well, it's just. I think it's too well executed to cut. Maybe. Although you say the base. Or does that make sense? I'm not sure. I need
I
to
don't
think
know.
about this one.
Yeah, like, do we mark down a gaming piece entered into a painting competition because it's on a gaming base?
You guys, but we've already talked that if you are putting anything on the base, it should be painted on the same level as everything else.
True.
And this is just base coated.
I think that
It looks
put
nice
that
because it's
in the
just
cusp.
shiny.
Okay.
Because that's on the cusp.
Okay.
Yep.
He could do with this crystal
Sure.
thing
Do we
the same
need-
thing
yeah.
he did with the, so just use a
Yeah.
second color over there and it would be
Sure. If
much
that was
better.
on a mounted on a base, doing some like with something to have as a display, it would be different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that here we have a problem with the base being on a maybe bronze level and the painting is on the goldish level. Maybe silver.
Silver level
silver.
painting, maybe.
Yeah. So. Okay, back could be darker, I think, because we have more of the highlights coming from
Can I
here.
have a?
I would put that in the same zone. I don't think we can. So this one, the base
this
is
one has a
elevated,
really good
but this
base.
one, the base is
Yeah,
subtracted.
you have like a toothpaste, snow, right?
Yeah. So then they sort of equals out for me because if they're painting on the figures better, yeah.
But do you
painting
really
on the
want
base.
to put it in a silver gun?
No, I'm thinking high bronze for this. But if you want to put that,
So I can agree for high bronze.
unless you think, am I being too harsh? I'm starting to lose.
No, we can leave these here and decide later. They're not clear yet.
This one, I don't think that can be that can't be silver because of
No, I agree.
the base.
Yeah.
So it
That's
needs to
definitely
be
bronze.
bronze.
That's definitely a bronze.
Yeah.
Yep. The base is bad, but the
Yeah.
painting is strong enough
Yeah.
that it needs to be a bronze.
Yep.
Okay, so for me this is a cut.
Yeah, me too. It's cool, but it's I like the green checkered coat actually.
There's something
Yeah.
like white over here. I don't know if it's not painted or not finished, or maybe the shiny
Blue or something. Yeah, it's got some dust and
It's
stuff.
just not
It,
finished well.
yeah.
I think that the head is very interesting and nicely painted, but it's just overall.
I think it's a needs. Again, I mean, we're talking about bases a lot at the moment. Maybe the base is so flat, you know, that it's sort of
It needs a background or something.
it needs to be like something dynamic needs to be happening.
I don't know.
It's sort of dead
Yes,
space.
Yes, the space. Yes. So cut.
Yeah.
Do we have true metallics here? Yes.
It's a silver.
This is like the one we looked at before, but with a better base. I think like it's the
But it's consistent.
yeah, it's consistent. The base fits with it, and
Yeah. So silver.
Silver.
yeah. The painting's really strong. If there's one we want to keep on the table, just tell Trent if it's useful to
So
compare.
keep it the.
Trend.
That one's okay, but if
I
you,
think that's
if you
okay. I
think
think
that
we-
one's okay, but
I
if
think we
I
fairly
just mean
quickly
if,
agree. Yeah.
I think that this one bronze for me because the highlight non-technical is really basic.
it's metallic.
It's not metallic.
It is. Yeah.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the silver is metallics and the shoulders are.
It's supposed to be black.
Yeah, black, kind of shiny, I guess.
So
Bronze.
okay. I won't think about the finish too much. Okay, so it's bronze for me.
Yep.
I think that's quite similar to the one we just looked at, but maybe
It's
it's
almost the same paint I did today.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. But it's
It's not quite as consistent.
the Nogel one we just looked at was better, I think.
Yeah.
The base is not as strong on this
Yeah, it's good though. It's equally.
The focus is a little bit off. It's not as.
It's
good.
not as good. So yeah.
Okay, so we have the naked rod over here, guys. Please don't do that.
The what?
Naked rod, metallic rod.
Oh yeah. I thought you said the
And
naked
the-
rat, and I didn't know what you meant.
The bottom of it is not painted.
Yeah, guys, paint your miniatures, even with the black glaze.
That's a shame.
Yeah, so
That's a real shame.
for
Oh, well,
me,
look, I
this
don't
is-
think-
this.
I don't think we need to.
I think that this could be silver, but I would actually disqualify it to the bronze just because it's not finished, right?
I don't
being
know.
too
I think
harsh?
that's a bit rough. I think that
so.
it's not
But
super visible. I mean, it's not.
man, please, like silver is something like more, right? If you care about this competition, you would paint it in black. And priming something in black is like really the simplest thing aside from
know,
gluing
I
it
know.
with a glue, right?
But let me see the rest. So
The painting is really good. I would give it a silver, maybe gold, maybe just because I think that the highlights
Yeah.
are not working. Like there could
I think,
be
yeah,
more
if that-
with highlights. So,
the purple. I mean, something needs to be.
and this is like this whole
I'm
bronze over here is flat.
Yeah.
And like if you have so strong highlight from the top, then it should be consistent with the
Yeah, I
highlight
agree.
on the wood,
Yeah.
right? So for me, like the owl is beautiful, the
Yeah.
face is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would give it
yeah.
a silver, but
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Well,
So
yeah.
bronze?
Yes, that's
I would
fair.
give it a
That's
bronze.
a slap.
Yeah.
It won't be disqualifying because of that.
This is bronze with a sad face.
Bronze with a strong reprimand.
Yes, very strong.
So it seems as we're going on, we're more quickly identifying where things fall.
Yes.
I wonder whether that means people will be disappointed because they're not getting as much feedback. But
But
this
also,
one is straight
feed-
bronze to me.
The feedback will be rinse and repeat, right? It'll be the same feedback. because the
Yeah.
Because this one's just straight bronze to me.
yes, bronze, and with this one, the black lining, right, could make it like
Yeah, so
elevate the
this is getting up to silver, but maybe it's missing a few of those
Technical
extra
details.
touches. So,
Yes, yes.
like I said, those the dark lining to readability is a word we haven't been using much. You said it before. I really think some of the details need to be identified.
Yeah, right now
more.
when you see start with miniature, you see only this thing and then you explore the rest, right? And it shouldn't be like that, I think. But I
It's
really
really
like
so
this
cool.
painting.
I love
yeah.
the tentacle. It's fantastic.
If I can interject for a second, so I think it's okay that we're starting to speed up each one because you're starting to understand where your levels are. As we probably get towards gold, you'll then probably be starting to have more challenging conversations.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
feel-
think that we should call out where we think it lands as soon as we see it from now on.
Yep.
And then we can discuss whether that fits
Why?
or not. Bronze.
Bronze for me.
Okay, I don't agree. Whatever, we can.
You want to read this talk again?
So,
you want to put it aside
Tiebreaker,
and
Trent?
retalk?
Bronze?
What's Natalia think?
Cut.
Cut.
Because it's nicely base coated, basically. Like only the tentacle.
I can understand why you say
Okay, so
cut.
for the tentacle, I could give it to bronze, but again, like look on the back over here. It's just base coated. Like no, guys, if you are spending your time to paint something like this, then just have a mercy and just black line everything around, and it would be okay, right?
We will pass on that.
Okay.
I think what we need to do soon is go and look at things, just have a quick glance at the things we've awarded, bronze so far, and to remind ourselves there might be some that we shift. Does that make sense?
Well, once we've categorized everything.
Yeah.
that,
It'll be easier then to look at.
Everything. No, we have more, right?
We've got all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's.
We need to move
Okay, let's
faster.
go.
That's why I'm saying.
But you will be faster as you start to realise where you want to place
yeah.
things, right? So,
Bronze.
I can agree on bronze, I think, but I'm disappointed with the flatness of the base. Like, this is a nice touch, but like.
The
Yeah.
painting is technically very nice on the guy, and there's some really small details like the scales on his shoulders that stand out to me.
So bronze.
Bronze?
Yep.
Okay.
This one.
Bronze. I like this one personally. It's different. Like I like that
it's-
simple green. Like it's cut out from the field, and then there's like this layer of turf underneath, and that makes it stand out for me. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's I'm afraid it's a cut for me because it's. I think it's too simple. I understand what you're saying about the grass, but
it's a-
I've seen if it's a playing field, should there be a white lines on it or something, or like something more? And we have said something more needs to happen on the base than
Okay,
just.
but again, I think that
And-
this is basically a meme painting, right? And I think that the flat, like the easiness, because you can see that-
what about this white?
I agree, yeah.
I mean, it's.
But you can see that on this grass, something was done.
Yeah,
with
sure.
it,
Yeah.
because
That's
here
been.
it's, like-
I can see that, but
it's intentionally painted to look like that. This is intentionally supposed to be a field, so that's
Yeah.
that's a bronze.
It's a meme.
Yeah.
Do you agree on our meme bronze?
what? What?
Meme. It's like
It's
a
a
joke.
meme painting. Like it's a joke. It's done as a joke, because everyone does such
well.
serious pieces, and this is Blood Bowl, which is a meme game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a meme
it
painting.
fits
And
the-
I
it
think that
fits
this
the aesthetic.
base is so simple. Just
Well, it's not. It's the. Oh look. Okay. I mean,
You just want
you
a
know,
white
it's-
line on there, yeah?
Majority.
Just to
It's not.
identify
It's
it.
more. I just think I feel like we've cut things which it will be hard to justify if we let
But
this
this
in.
is supposed to be like that, and I think that the things we have cut
they didn't
were
fit.
random.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Okay.
Bronze equals.
These are nice. These are really nice.
And these are nice, but again they are quite simple, so I think that this is a bronze mark. max.
Yeah, bronze max.
But again,
These are a clear. But this is my problem. For me, these are a clear step up from what we just looked at
Yeah.
in terms of technique.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't.
You don't think so?
I don't agree either.
No, because this is a simple GW painting basically.
Yeah, no. This
Well,
is,
like
this
the
is
snake,
a low bronze
there's
compared
the
to the other
snake.
one.
There's patterns on the snake,
But,
and
like,
the metallics are nice.
like guys,
It's neater than the.
but it's
one we
neat.
just saw.
It's a good gaming piece, but is it
Well,
a competition
true,
piece?
but then, okay, I guess if you're saying this,
We are thinking
this is,
about this one, right? And
this
this one
is-
is even simpler. Even more
okay, I know that's the but I was uneasy about this as well. Like, this is a sticking area for me. I guess I'll Trent. What do you think? I mean, these I'm happy to
What's
follow the
your
majority.
conversation?
I'm feeling just a little uneasy if we let that Blood Bowl one through, whereas these are, to me, they're at least on the same technical level, especially this one.
Well, I think
But
the
we're
farce
saying
is,
no.
I think the farce is definitely bronze.
Yeah, me too.
I think these are on the cusp. I think those are a late conversation to say, does a gaming figure get into the final cut?
And that's the same thing we said about these.
But this is a
guys,
higher
we have
standard
like
than
a
these.
random bar,
Oh yeah,
sorry, guys.
which is the right.
178.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
So does
Okay.
this one go in
I think,
bronze then now?
I think
Or?
that's a bronze, and this is a.
Okay, if we give
side
those
of
to
the end.
bronze, then
This is a cut for me because this is like a basic
It's,
GW pencil.
this is just a standard
So
gaming
we'll
piece.
put it with the other ones that we're deciding on
Okay.
later.
no, I'm happy to cut. But. Fuck.
2 to 1.
I'll go back
overall
and look
on
at
the
it.
Blood Bowl one.
Okay, so this one. I think that the issue over here is
Unbalanced.
yeah, this is not balanced with the colors, especially in particular, because this goblin is as green as the foliage over here, and I think that it should be a little bit different.
I
Just
like
to make
it.
stand
It's a
out.
cool idea because like it seems so full to me. Like there's so much going on, but
Yes.
that's also a negative at the same time because it's not balanced.
Yes.
But
It is a cool idea with the. I like the cutout base.
underground,
It's
yeah.
cool. I mean, yeah, maybe if it was really dark, it would look
Yeah.
even cooler, maybe. So what? I mean, the painting's quite. I think the painting's quite good on the figure.
it's a cut for me though. Because of like we've cut others for not painting the tufts. The idea is there, the creativity is there, but the technical
But if we will
execution
cut
is not
this,
quite.
I think that we should cut Path to Glory as well.
It's true. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh on it.
No, I actually I can agree, but I would cut Path to Glory
This one.
and make the
Cut it?
decision. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. If we cut this, we have to cut those.
And this one, looks more impressive because it's so complicated.
Yeah, it's
right?
yeah, and it's so bright.
I don't want to cut the Eldar just yet,
It's okay.
but I can agree on some of that.
And I think we might have to look again at the bronze and cut a
So
few more too.
we'll
If
just
we're
leave
cutting
it-
this,
We'll just leave
yeah,
this with them. So,
Okay.
so it'll be on the board.
that's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Silver.
Yeah,
Close to gold, but that will
no,
depend on the
I
gold.
won't agree that it's close to gold, to be honest. But it's
Normally,
a
I think silver. It's got that instant,
There is no finish over here, like, no black line over here, like, again, black line, right? But, and here you have like a dirty black line, which is completely random, so it's not,
It doesn't have that extra level of
To get it to
finesse
gold.
to get it to gold.
stronger,
Have we seen any gold yet?
yes, we have, those two. I think so.
So far, yeah. I think we haven't.
Yeah, but
Trent
we
hasn't
are
brought them
missing a
yet.
lot of,
Yeah, Trent hasn't brought them
Yeah,
yet.
so we're
So
working
I
up.
think
They're coming.
Working up
We're
from
working
where we
upwards.
placed them on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah,
I think
That's a
that
silver thing.
bronze slash silver, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, comparable.
If these are
Comparable to
silver,
this.
that's much higher than the.
Oh no, I don't agree. Like,
Really?
It looks like this because you have more texture like that. But just look at the finish. Like there are no black linings. Like some
Oh yeah, I see what
some
you
places
mean.
there is it's like the highlights are very different. Like look at this.
Yeah,
highlight
okay,
over here.
okay.
So for
It
me,
has
it's
a
bronze.
very sophisticated color palette compared to some of the others we've seen there. You know, we like the basing matches very well, and the
The
whole
stuff on the
figure
base
is
is
very
painted. It's a high bronze.
Bronze.
At least.
alright. High bronze.
This one. This is a trash, right?
A what?
Sorry, I thought that it's from Bunny, so I
So
said.
be ruthless.
Throw it right there.
Tell it.
Is it
tell her
yours?
out. Tell her out.
It's yours.
Hurt me.
I say bronze.
Yes, for me it's a bronze.
I think it's like the few we've just looked at. It's got a it's got a nice instant kind of appeal, but then as you look, the extra kind of finesse and refinements, which would be the technical like refinements, which take
Push it up
it to
into silver.
the next level, maybe.
Okay, I think
Like things, just a little this area.
yeah, I think that it's a bronze, but I also think that just as a feedback, like over here and over here, we have two very strong points of color, and we miss something on her head. I think that
Yeah.
something more could be used.
Yeah, yeah.
Spotlighting.
Yeah.
Bronze.
Bronze? Do you think so?
Or maybe cut.
Like, to be honest, I really like the head over
Yeah,
here,
That's nice.
but
I like this. I like this area too. The sort of like white.
It's another one that's quite glossy all over instead of having different
Yeah.
finishes.
To me, this is very flat in this area.
it's not painted, it's just discoated, so it's
The leather is very flat on the glove, like there's no highlights. And
Yeah, it's this one for me. I really like the color concepts behind
yeah.
it. If there was some more,
this
a
is
bit more,
really impressive.
yeah.
yeah, this one, yeah, right?
It's got like a nice sort of color, sensibility or something, and it matches nicely with the paint. It's sort of all. It's got a very unusual and interesting.
But the technical
Palette.
level on certain areas.
Yeah, if only there was more. If there's such, light happening on the hair and so on. If only this area was more. You've got such an opportunity, I think, along here to kind of, and the face.
So I think
But
that's-
it has got a nice.
But I think that we will cut it, right?
But this is so good.
Yeah, it is good.
It
so,
stands out, but then it's inconsistent over the whole model, I guess.
I think bronze. I think it's got enough for bronze.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Cut.
Sorry.
You're getting overruled
Sorry.
too much. Are you unhappy?
No.
Your head judge, mate. You tell us to fuck off if you want.
He will unfriend us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Normally I'm the mean one.
it was painted during my workshop, so I'm not sure if I should.
I think cut to me.
I don't see how we can. From what we just cut, I don't see how we can not cut this too.
Yeah, that's why I say cut straight away. Doesn't seem
It's got.
finished.
So the difference is it's got. This has got more action in the lighting,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have the same sort of subtle sensibility in the. The like color
Something I
palette,
do
the,
like
the
is this
chest.
Yeah,
The plinth, the rocks in the plinth.
That is
really
that
cool.
is an interesting element and
Something I
unusual.
haven't seen before, but I like it. It fits like the gold colours fit the colour of the scene. Again, this white jacket. Again, it just seems zenithally primed to me. I want more colour in it somehow, like even just
Yeah, it's
reflecting
such an
up into the
opportunity.
shadows.
It's such an opportunity to have some subtle sort of nuance and color.
Yeah.
Close.
It's very close. All these we're looking at are super close.
$5 for my PayPal every time I say a color.
This is similar. It's got some really good aspects. I like the ears are really cool. The cowhide. And
I think that it's the face in particular and the
Yeah.
ears are great, but I
Yeah,
think that
the front.
it lacks some finish. Like over
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
it could be cleaner, the black lining again, and I think that the highlight over here on her chest could be higher, just to match her face, right? Because
Yeah.
here you can see that the
yeah, they're so nice here, but unfortunately they're there are some.
But also, like the values on her face are stronger, like higher, and the skin looks more reflective. And here we lack it everywhere else on her body. And again, like black lining on the choker.
Did we cut?
It's a bit like Geralt.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
so we-
I think if we cut Geralt,
Geralt, this
did we
has to
cut
get
Geralt?
cut. We did.
Bronze.
Yeah.
Then we have to cut. Yeah. I've got to remember that we cut Geralt. So that's if we cut Geralt, then we can cut this.
I think that is the silver.
Yep. High bronze, silver. What do you think?
I'm thinking maybe this is comparable to that. Who's the green and yellow one we just argued about? I don't know the name.
The Blood Bowl one.
No, the just a minute ago.
Oh yeah. I know which one you mean. Yeah. The dwarf girl. With
Is
the,
that what it is?
With the
Skinny?
striped hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is quite comparable to me. Did we not give that bronze?
We did. I think this is better.
You think it's better?
Because
Do you think because it's more like
simple,
distinct or something, like it's more clean, like the
simple, but again the highlights are in the right position, and it's just interesting, right? Here you can see that a lot was painted on the mask.
the mask is nice, the sword is nice. Yeah.
Right, and it's stylized,
Yeah.
everything. But
It
just
works
matches,
well
and
though.
it's
You're right.
Really nice
and then
to
turn it around and the back is really nice as well.
Yes, I think that
Silver.
she could be darker. Yeah, it is silver for me.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, and
Okay, this one. Very nice texture.
Yeah, I really appreciate the amount of effort and work in the freehand like that.
I
The
think that we lack finish in
if the
black line again, like
There are certain
it's
things
lacking
that bring
some
this up.
darkness or something. I think under there, it could be really. It's a bit. It's sort of like the level of darkness on top of there on the back is the same. There is the same as like under there, whereas it should be really dark underneath there and really.
The question with this is to cut or not, right?
I would cut it
Yeah, me too.
because the painter has a some
You don't
potential.
agree again?
I think that's a bronze.
I think it's at least a bronze.
The freehand's too good not for it to be a bronze.
But
But you can't let freehand.
But there's nothing that's been neglected
But
to the
this
same
is-
extent. So we cut like Geralt, for example, and that the one we just looked at because there were areas which were neglected
Yeah,
quite severely.
and for example, like this.
This is neglected, but it's not the same as.
And it's like the freehand, right? The whole miniature is a freehand, not just the texture someone painted on the cloak, right? Don't let it cheat you.
But-
And so if someone decided to
But
put
the
the
blue
whole attention
this
to
is
one
nice
element,
though. The blue, like yes, it could be darker here, whatever. But this angle, the blue is really, it's quite.
Yeah, I think
It's a
bronze.
nice,
I'm okay with bronze.
an unusual contrast to the dark around it. It's an unusual looking figure.
Okay, I can agree.
I agree there
for-
could be more. Yeah, there should be more lighting. There should be more done with
Okay,
the
I
hair.
can agree that it can be a bronze, in your opinion, but I can say that
Yeah,
I think that
you think not. Yeah.
I think that we need a stronger finish for a competition piece to get them alive, basically. So it's a nice try for the freehand, and but for me it lacks. I think.
Can we
Put it over here.
discuss again?
I want
I'd like. I'm
Borderline.
happy as long as we can. Can we take that over and compare it to the bronzes, and then it might be like, yeah, definitely not, or
Yep.
Okay, so I think that it may be not silver. Sorry.
the,
What is this?
No, you don't judge on that. It
We
got
do.
broken in transit. Broken in transit.
Okay.
It's a silver for me.
Again, it should be black over here. But the painting is very nice, and it's a silver for me. And again, like here,
The lighting is
values,
consistent.
Values,
Yeah,
on the
the-
skin are consistent. So
it's consistent. The lighting is consistent.
silver.
And,
This one.
It's really flexible.
I think that this one looks actually better on the screen because it picks up on the greens better. And in a real life, it's
This is somewhere
less
between
saturated.
bronze and silver for me
Yes,
too.
I would.
I think it's similar level to maybe
No.
yeah.
No. Just because here you have everything is finished. and
Well,
again,
but what about the
black
green?
lining.
The green parts in here aren't really
Okay,
not
but
much
here,
done.
here you don't have that much difference.
That's true down here.
But you don't have like it's not overpainted over here on this stuff like.
That's true,
on the
and that's
content.
important,
You,
that
the,
part.
the areas between they are not even black, right? So I think that it's way lower than this.
The bronze.
Yeah, bronze.
Bronze. I'm happy with bronze. Yeah. With bronze.
This one.
Whew. Okay.
There's so many.
Yeah.
They just keep coming. That's
We
okay.
haven't even started this bit yet.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to take a break after we get to.
Sure. So,
Yeah.
so we probably do need to try and increase the pace a little.
All right. I'm slowing us down. So
Bronze.
Fast.
Pass.
Can
I see-
confused.
it's too good to pass. It's too.
It goes with these, I think.
It's better than the jet bike because it's got look in the muscles, the fingers. It's got extra attention and nuance. It has to get something.
I think it's
I know
a
the
bronze,
base doesn't, but it has to.
Pass.
Oh, it's hard for me to judge that one. It's one of mine, but
I like the highlight coming from the jacket, and then the finish is just too low. Most of the surfaces are just base coated, and nothing else was done with, so I would pass on it.
Dave, not enough.
Pass.
Not enough.
It's because of they're too subtle.
Yeah.
I know the painter well. She's a good friend, but yeah, maybe this is a good reminder for up the value contrast.
Silver?
Gold or silver? I would put it in silver and then compare to anything.
Yeah.
I think
It could be a high silver.
I think it's it's at least a silver. So
Yeah.
let's
Put it over there with
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Have we looked at that?
Yeah, this one not yet. I think that's.
Pass.
Yeah.
Or bronze.
I would give it a bronze.
The
I
face
don't-
lets it down for me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like,
Can we give? I don't think we can give that a bronze if we don't give that one and that one.
If you want
I
to
think
give
this
a
is
bronze
belongs
to the,
with.
to the base,
yeah,
It's
along with those. Yeah.
yeah.
okay, this one. The bust is very nicely done, and I think that this is interesting. But again, I think that the wooden base like makes it too rustic
It's
in a
too
way.
different from the scene.
I think if the base was cold or really
I
dark
don't
or
know where to
something,
classify it.
Yeah. But
there's some really nice subtle sort of painted on shadows and things in here. And you see in there, Dave. And I really love those white. It's an interesting interpretation.
Yeah, the paint lines or tattoo or something.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's bronze.
Bronze, yeah.
Right? This is a pass for me.
Cut.
Like, yeah, cut.
You don't think there's enough? I think there's some very interesting and creative elements going on with this. Now this is one of mine, so I don't want to be biased. Okay, the back.
We are biased for painted backs, sorry.
It's
I mean,
everything.
the way
the
the
level
mask, the
here and the
cracking on the
mask.
mask, and the
If that was
textures and
consistent
the.
over the whole model, this would be potentially even higher than a bronze. But it's a cut for me because it's not finished.
And again, it's here no finish, right? Because like it just went it just was left with base coat.
You don't agree?
Well,
What are you sitting on?
Cutting or not?
I think that's a bronze.
Let's put with these.
My feeling is that there's been, we talked about creative, like experimental, trying something. It's different. It's trying something.
Yeah.
I at the same time agree that it's neglected areas.
Okay,
So
but
I don't. It's very.
But
I'm
you
not
know,
having.
just
I'm
being
struggling.
artistic
Yeah.
without any like technical merit.
still
and
need
this is a
to-
competition, right? This
yeah,
is not a
true.
kindergarten. We are hard here. We are
You do-
smashing.
Yes.
Like,
Go Natalia, fuck them up.
Let's keep it on the edge.
A goal.
yeah, I've seen this before. So I don't need to look. I've seen it.
Silver, why so? Please argue.
It's the same everywhere. It's a high silver.
But he has higher values over here, so I think that it comes like we can see the focus point.
But look,
The thing
look at
which
the white
the-
in the tassels. It's very white down here still. And then there's missing value in the background, like edge highlights.
The only thing that concerns me is the background, because I don't really like square backgrounds, but it also doesn't have much like the same lighting.
Okay, so
But
It's a high
the
silver,
figure
maybe
I'm
on the
happy with.
borderline of gold. But
I think we put it. I think we need to put it here, and we'll look at the golds and silvers, and then we'll decide.
maybe this one. I'm not sure if it's silver. Because like, it's nice painted, maybe bronze.
silver.
I don't.
Oh,
But how is
look
it?
at this.
Why is it better than this?
Why is it better?
Yeah, I mean it's. Or why? What about this one?
I feel like this is technically much higher than this.
I wouldn't agree. I think that
I
it
don't think
has,
so. It's super like clean and
Maybe that's just
crisp.
my taste showing.
Yeah, it's super clean and crisp. But we just talked about what's the creative risk part to make it a
Yeah,
competition winner.
Okay. Bronze.
This did something interesting with the base and.
All right, can I make a controversial statement? Cut all.
I agree.
Well, I mean, that's why they're going there. Really, it's just to make me feel better.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I
but
think we're at the point now where
yeah, well, there's too many. Yeah.
too many,
Smash,
and I
smash.
think they're all cut.
Go for it.
So
Yeah, yeah. This one.
Bronze.
No, I would give it a silver, I think. Why bronze?
Show me the front again. Oh yeah, okay.
I think it.
A little bit of inconsistency in some areas.
Kind of. It's sort of a.
Okay,
Do you
I
think
can
there's-
agree on bronze, but I think that we have
Borderline again.
so
maybe
few
it's-
pieces in silver. It could go
I'd
to
say
silver.
going to silver for me, especially if it's not. It's this zone.
You guys,
So
this one is really good.
no, I know.
It's
I love
better
this
than
one.
This one, right? Like just in the technical aspect.
Can I see? Just turn this one.
Okay, maybe the back is like fantastic.
Yeah, bronze. I'm okay with bronze for this.
Can we get rid of those guys standing over there?
Are you okay with bronze for that?
Yeah, high bronze.
Yes. This is bronze. Again, like made in Japan.
So, yeah, same. I like this one as. What did we give to the other one with the
Bronze,
painted
I
backdrop?
think.
I don't remember.
Bronze or silver? We agreed that
Whatever
it's,
we gave,
I think
it's
that
this. It's the same
the
thing. I
same.
actually like this one better than the one with the planet, but I don't know if you'll agree.
It's really unfinished, like it's very basic, and you are getting the
Oh.
illusion of a background is making the whole work.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
background
But
is doing
but
all
I
of
just
it
mean
again.
we've looked at one of these with the backdrop, and what it's just painted to this sort of the same, so I think it should get the same.
And see, like this wood is not painted, also bronze, right?
Yep.
Bronze. Strand.
Yep, bronze. Wonderful, thank you.
But potentially gold.
No.
Really?
I think that it's bronze.
It's me too. I think it's not
Not
as
technically high
technical
enough?
as this one, and this is our one we're saying is sort of maybe a silver, aren't we? So it's
Maybe a bronze.
it's
because I
like the warm lighting is nice, dynamic, but it's too. If we look at this part up here. So it's
okay.
just not the technical execution. That's the like finesse that's needed
So
to
this
be
is
the
a
high.
bronze.
Yeah, let's put it to bronze and then we will review.
I feel like the face is really striking though.
It is. But again, like the only like the strongest feature is the striking face, and then the finish is not
Yeah,
as
okay,
high.
yeah, bronze. But that could be a high bronze.
Could be.
I really like this. This is one of those ones that has the artistic idea, but is lacking a little bit in technical finish.
Also, like the
Yeah,
assembly was problematic over here, and it's porous.
So yes, it's missing those small areas of finesse that we need to
does
go
it
to
cut
really
or-
high. No, I think it's
I think it's a bronze.
definitely a bronze.
It's definitely not silver for me, but I really like
I'm
this
happy
piece.
with bronze.
So it's
Yeah.
elevated by the artistic flair.
Okay, so
Yeah.
bronze. So here you have a gold.
This one I brought over to because I thought it's I'm commending as with the one you brought over because it's such an unusual idea to use the
I don't know how long that took.
and it looks really interesting and cool in person. I think the rest of the painting is good, but maybe not too. The back is quite nice. Maybe we're not at quite the.
I don't know though, like
It's hard.
it's gold leaf, and that looks amazing, but it's also just flat gold leaf.
Yeah, it's yes, but it's a creative idea that could be built upon. I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
This is a really like the kernel of like
I'd love to
something
see
really
this
brilliant
developed
that could be
more.
developed in a way that could be really exciting. I think. If the rest of the painting supported it in the right way, the rest of the painting is really good, but maybe it's not.
So we're talking about cutting this, yeah.
Yeah, so if
Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk about it.
Like,
I-
see, like this is like after so yeah, but this is
yeah,
a
it's very
recommendation.
interesting.
Commendation
Yeah.
though.
This one I've had a good look, but I'm not sure.
That's a tough one.
Yes, I think
It's
bronze.
got very.
Bronze.
It's got.
But it's also
I don't
got some
understand.
areas missing as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
But
like the
it's
ones
got
I've
a
looked
cool
at.
idea,
It's got a really, the
but then I want to see some,
dynamic
like the red and orange
aspect.
here. I want to see
Yeah.
it here.
Like the rest of the miniature is not supporting the OSL, right? There should be more shadow all over just to contrast it.
But the face is also again very striking.
Yes, it is. So
face is really nice.
yeah, I like it.
Very
so,
standout.
Color palette.
So bronze, right?
Yeah.
Bronze.
You okay, bronze?
Okay. Yep.
Were you thinking cut?
Bronze.
I was thinking bronze or cut. So bronze.
Do you want to cut it?
No.
Okay.
So this is amazing, but it's also copy of Sergio.
Yeah, exactly. So no.
But I still think it's potentially a gold.
No.
Oh, Natalia's broke the model.
Sorry, guys.
What did we speak better?
She's ruthless.
Other way. Oh, no, that's all right.
We can't fix it now.
How did
It mustn't have been glued.
So we can fix it. This later. Later.
Why not gold?
Okay, so now it needs
It's a copy.
gold. Yeah, but it just fell off. What should I do?
Too
I know
excited.
that this is on the cusp of silver and gold, but technically this
No.
is quite high.
This is no. I don't agree. Because
This is either a silver
Because it's a
or
copper.
Yeah,
bronze.
it's
this is silver or bronze. You are getting like
has to be silver.
The
It's too
illusion.
high in
Silver.
You can't go lower. It's too technically good.
In the bin.
I really like the idea of putting the
That is nice. Yep. It's really it's got some really nice subtle elements. I like the
but again,
markings
like
on the skin. It's maybe missing the final treatments of everything, like and a bit more contrast. All the details, so you picked out more. That's what you're saying with the black lining and so on.
Yes.
A bit more attention to all the little
Yeah,
bits,
but really,
finesse.
really nice
But
one.
overall, it's
Yeah, we're cutting it.
Bronze.
Bronze? Okay. This one.
I really like this.
Yeah, nice.
I never liked this model that much when I saw it,
You're not supposed to stay like every model.
but see, seeing this paint job has changed my mind about it. I actually would consider thinking about painting it now that I'm seeing
the
it.
way the
It
face
inspires
and
me.
the mane has been painted is fantastic.
As well.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
inspires me.
Yeah,
So-
the mane around the face is really nice.
It is. But bronze, I think.
Yeah, it's bronze.
Yep.
So that's probably mid to high bronze.
Yes, we can review later, right? Okay, this one, I think that it's like 6. But again, like here, like just the black line will make it more tidy, right?
This is a bronze for me.
Me too. I think it's comparable to, this area lacks, behind the hair there, those things that you just
Contrast
pointed
level
out.
overall in general for me is
I just only because it's the things we've just pointed out. I think
the
about other
face is
figures.
striking.
Yeah, it has a striking element.
Just needs to
I'm
But-
very,
develop the contrast.
I'm very biased for Papa Jumbos, so
Oh, it's so beautiful though, figure, but
yeah, so silver. Sorry, bronze, right? Bronze?
Bronze.
it's a high bronze. Okay, let's put them in bronze, and we'll if we need to.
Okay, so surprise, another Papa Jumbo.
This one's a little bit higher, but then there's certain areas. I think this one is silver.
But this one is not assembled well, and I think that when you split a piece to a competition, it should be assembled. You can see you can see
Oh, the gap.
Yeah, the gap, and it's present.
Oh, yeah.
around.
But then it has more impact than the previous one, or it has more instant impact.
Yeah,
And if the one
that
we
has
just-
instant silver impact.
The one we just looked at,
Yeah, but
that's
it's-
almost a silver. Doesn't this need to be a silver?
That's
or
why
is
I
it?
think. But then that also.
But then is that enough to
yeah,
bring it down?
and it's like not clean painted. Like here, the line are wobbly, right? So I don't think that it's a silver.
Bronze?
It's a bronze, I think. What do you think?
Put it near the edge.
That's a
We could almost
really
put this in
high
silver
bronze.
and look at it again. Do you think?
Yeah.
We'll look at it. We'll look at the
Because
edge.
the silver, we're
edge
gonna,
again.
yeah, the edge.
I think that the first of all, the base, the base and some.
Yeah, I don't
some
understand.
select
I'm shit at
consistent.
construction. I just
And
get
it's a detail, but it makes it look like less painted in a way. And again, over here, it's like uneven. So I would advise to go for a hair finish. Yeah, I think
It's
it's a
a
nice.
cool idea.
It's a cool
and
idea,
it's well
and it's strong. I
executed,
like the way
I think it's
the
a
rust is
conversion
painted is
from-
really cool and interesting for me.
It's
Like the corrosion effects, it's different sort of.
It's in that category where we see potential, and they just need to keep working. With
Yeah.
I think there's really a lot of potential
Yeah.
with this one.
Yeah,
I think the environment is something with the base. If it was something more like, rather than it seems like it's so flat, but the figures wants to be dynamic to me. Like it wants to move. It's all like sticking out pieces, and maybe
You want
if
to
it-
feel that movement.
yeah, as a way to maybe elevate it.
Yeah. Okay. Cut.
So cut.
It's close though.
very uneven.
Silver?
I think maybe a silver, yes. And it's consistent all around, so it's
Yeah, my instinct is definitely silver.
It just doesn't have that extra pizzazz to get it into the gold.
and also like for the base, again, it's good to be cleaner, right? Here and here. But it's just a
too
minor
minor.
detail.
That's the kind of thing
Yeah.
that will stop it getting into gold, those like those little things.
Silver?
Silver, very good.
Cormac.
Just judge this for another competition online.
You've just
I know, I've seen it before too.
And I know places in it already, but I can't see. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Doesn't matter.
No, I can't. Because they're
They haven't announced it yet?
no.
Right, okay.
I really like the color palette here.
Yeah.
it's very
I
Well,
love
it's-
that change, like
It is-
doing fire on this kind of bush
Yeah.
kind of idea guy.
It's lacking some sort of technical finesse, let's say.
Right.
Or so, what do you guys think? I think it's the max is bronze.
yeah.
Bronze.
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 But it has that artistic idea, so
does.
it's,
Sure.
it's
Yeah,
probably
that
high.
lifts it up.
That lifts it
It's
up.
not
a
just
bit.
painted. It's
I like this too, but then there's some flat areas. Yeah. But the face is very striking again, but bronze.
yeah, I like it.
Cut that shit.
I wouldn't have that.
I like the
Bronze.
Bronze.
yeah bronze. Yep. Oh, this I'm really interested. This is another very creative, interesting one for me.
For me, it's a bronze, I think. There is a very strong idea with the.
I really like the caustics here.
Yeah, but I think that it's very simple and also like not very finished. Like over here, you can see that it's just painted blue. Right?
Yeah, and again, the whole thing is satin or almost gloss. I wish I suppose it's underwater, so it's meant to be wet, I guess. But that's just something that I like.
It's such a
Wish
cool.
I could
It's
see.
really cool, kind of. It could be extended, like to be showy winner, you know. But it's like such a like the interesting part, which is the white, whether like it's dapple the water or whatever it is,
Caustic.
is what do you call it? Caustic. Someone's called
Caustics,
caustic.
yeah.
It's so interesting and cool and well executed that I mean the rest of it.
That's
You know, it could.
I just
Yeah.
wish it was more than just the caustics.
Yeah. But they're so cool
So,
and
they're
interesting.
so
do you want to cut it or give it a bronze?
Bronze.
Oh,
Bronze.
definitely.
Okay.
Now this will be interesting. Can we do both of these at once?
Do you have two?
Just want to let you know, so we'll probably take a break at about 5 once we finish these. You can have a break
Okay,
in
cool.
the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a very fun afternoon doing this shit.
So cut.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
These are tricky. These are really tricky. Both of these have good and bad elements, and I think that they're probably they could be cut or they could be bronze.
This is cut for me. This one.
I think if you cut one, you cut both.
Yeah.
I think so.
But the hair, like
different,
this
but
one has
they're-
really nice hair.
And the highlight on the hair is nicely going.
The face is better here.
This
and
one's
then
smoother.
This one has some,
This one has more creativity with the kind of textures,
and they're so close.
but
so
it's lacking
close.
some of that.
Yeah, and also I think that this busts look more impressive just because they have a lot of detail, right?
Yeah,
But
it's a cool
the
bust.
painting in the end is it's not yeah, but very
they're
nice
both- they're
one.
I
both
guess
very
they're
close.
both really close. They're both right on the border of bronze.
And this guy. And here we have, I think that
This is
It's a cool idea, but
yeah. I think
I can see
for
what
me
they're
it's
going
it's a really cool idea that
for. Didn't execute
is-
as well as it.
like, but
again if
But you've got to take risks like this to make a cool piece. Because
Yes.
if this came out, it could be
Yeah.
amazing. But
But it again, it only lacks some finish, right? So a black
Painting,
line over
yeah.
here, black line over here, just the finishing touches, and I think that it would elevate it much farther.
And I think that whoever did this should chase this idea, try and do it again.
Yes,
Because I would like to see it executed better in the future. Because I really like it, but
so
it didn't quite come off this time.
this is a commanded piece, but
Yep.
it's a cut.
Yeah, it's a kind of piece I love to see in competition though, because it's another
Risk.
risk. It's a big creative risk. It's a
Yes.
really interesting idea. It has a potential to be
Emotionally.
like show winner
Yeah.
easily.
So here we have Pedro Fernandez.
There you go.
I think it's a cut.
Yeah, I think just because it's so big and so much area, it's done really well. But I feel like you need to do.
A little bit.
Because it's such
so
a blank
close to
canvas.
bronze,
It needs.
so close to bronze, I think.
Yeah.
But like dark skin like this is really difficult to paint. And,
It's
and
really nice.
It's
It's
convincing
good. Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I believe that this is
I like
the
this
dark
red
skin
sort
that
of
they've
part in
painted.
here, actually.
Yeah, and all the different tones in there
purpley
really
red.
help work on that. But the hair. The hair is kind of maybe letting the rest down because I don't know what you
I
can
don't know
do
how you do
differently.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that
The paint
process of
spot. It's an
paint-
interesting idea.
Yeah, but again, it
Yeah.
looks like a clip art a little bit. It could
Yeah.
be like either
More volume.
Yeah, more volume. It could be more realistic or more stylized. But right now,
Yeah, it sort of looks like. Well, it looks like stickers or something. See the way it's sort of been. See that blue splodge? It's like the top's been highlighted, but
Yeah.
well, it wouldn't be like that if it's paint. It would just change the surface. It wouldn't.
But I really like this as
But
well. This was one
I
that
like
stood
it
out on the
too.
shelf for me too. So
Yeah,
it's another commended.
it's a hard
I think.
one. It's definitely commended.
it is.
Very eye-catching.
Yeah.
So cut.
Yes. Okay, so another backdrop, please.
Another one.
Whoever's painting these backdrops is
Yeah,
getting very good at
I know.
2D painting.
So this is a cut for me.
Do you think it's? I would say
Mostly
so.
the
It's
front end.
the other two. I think we've given bronze,
Yeah,
but I
I
think
agree
you're
to cut
right.
this one
I
down.
like the background, but I don't like the cork
yes,
face.
the base is really,
dirty
really
cork.
basic.
Yeah.
Just a dirty fucking cork with a dry brush. Get out of here. Get out of here. You dirty cork dry brush.
Okay, so again, I'm not judging on this one, so guys.
Is this the same?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So it's
Not as good as this.
yeah, right. So I really like this part.
Yeah.
This shoulder is really fascinating. I'm not sure if the rest is up to the same level. Where this one had, lots of interesting. It's got the zebra skin and the helmet so fascinating. The face has that sort of intensity. I'm not sure. What do you think, Dave? Are we cutting?
What do you
Well-
think? What do you think on this one?
This one is definitely at least a
At least a bronze.
But
I-
the-
High bronze.
I lean silver bronze is what I think.
yeah, getting a closer look.
This
I'm
is,
okay with bronze.
This
I
is
wouldn't cut-
some really nice,
I know,
interesting
yes, it is.
detail.
I
This
know.
is a really well rendered face. The face,
Okay.
everything leans in. I think that's a bronze. think
Because
that's
I
a
was
silver.
only able to see from this angle
Yeah.
before, so yeah, I'm okay. With
Okay,
bronze.
I'm happy with that. Another one funny.
I like in particular the outline, right?
Me too. The green
green one.
skin is so. I really like that. On the
Yeah,
chest
this
here,
was
the
one of the
little pink
standout
part
pieces
and
on the shelf for me too. Enjoyed
hair is-
looking at this. I enjoyed photographing
Okay, the
this.
back.
The back is not so done.
Doesn't need to be done. You don't
I'm
look at
okay
that.
with it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as problem though. It's not. It's not unfinished in
Okay,
a
so
bad way.
what
Bronze?
do you guys think? Bronze or
Maybe silver.
high bronze, I would say, or silver.
Put it on the border of
that's a
silver.
silver.
Definitely.
Yeah. But again, for the silver, like it could have a little bit more things like over here. You can see that it's not
And
painted.
paint these black.
Yeah, there's black. Yes, and there is no black lining over here, so overall it's great. But I think
Yeah.
for the
A
strict
few
silver,
tiny
So do we put it in
little
silver?
touches. Do you want to put it in silver? And
Yeah,
look
yeah,
black?
yeah.
What do you
Silver,
want to
and then we can judge. Yeah.
put it in silver?
I like this.
Yeah, me too. This one's
Like
great.
the violet
Love the
shadows,
colors.
are great. Like
I'm very partial to purple.
Yeah, me too. I think that the purple actually is missing over here, right?
Yeah.
And it's very visible on elements that don't have
I
the
like the
purple,
fact that
actually.
this is a good example where, you know, the important part, which is always the face, has the colors are, you know, moved to pink and are warmer and eye-catching compared to the
focus is
cold to
there,
the focus
yeah.
really drawn the
I'm-
focusing
Look at
in a
the
way.
shells. Yeah, I think that it's a silver. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
It, minimum
You okay
silver.
with that? Yeah.
At least silver.
Put
yeah.
that on the border
Yeah.
of gold.
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Hickman, I think that's. I think that this is a case of a very complicated sculpt that is elevating the painting a little bit.
Yeah, bronze.
I think that it's a cut actually.
Really?
Yeah, because you can see like there is no finish over here, like no black lining again, like the muscles are very cut from each other, and it doesn't work this way. Like the transitions.
see.
Yeah, so this
You
is
have
like
to look really close.
because the sculpt is so
But cutting?
complicated, right? Yeah, I think that it should be a cut.
I think the base is strong enough that it stays in bronze.
I like that. Well, if we can, yeah, sure. Can we step back from the
And again, like the
look at the whole? So that's what you're saying. So we've got there's
base is
quite an
gray.
interesting color.
But you guys like look, the base is nice. It has nice contrast because it has the violet shadows, and there is nothing of it.
I think it would be
present
really
on the,
nice
on the
if
miniature.
it's sort of like a sunset base, isn't
And it
it?
has
So
so
if there
much
was like a
potential if that was
sunset
included
onto the figure,
model. My
would
God,
be-
that could go into gold.
would
or
be
even best in
amazing.
show.
And like the this is just disconnected. Like the miniature is disconnected from
Yeah.
the base completely. So that's why it's for me it's a cut. And also like it's glued over here. Like you can see it that well, but the paw over here you can just see the difference, and it's not clean. So the finish is not the best either.
I still feel it fits in bronze. Like compared to some of the other bronzes, I think this fits as a bronze. But let's compare.
That's it. Well, let's compare that to the
Look
others.
from this back, right? When you turn around the base, you can see that it's something interesting, and nothing similar is going on with the miniature.
Yeah. I understand all of your
lost
points,
opportunity.
and it's on the border, I think.
It may be a bronze, but I can agree. Like I won't fight for it. So
Let's review that one.
Yeah. So that's a borderline bronze.
Okay.
nice nails, very fancy lady.
This is a tricky one.
Yeah, it is
I didn't like this miniature, which isn't relevant at all to judging, but it
is part of your
kind of
taste.
makes it hard. Yeah.
I'm on the border of cut and bronze for this.
I would cut it.
What do you
this
think,
is-
Natalia? You think cut?
Yes, I think cut. Just because like the yellow shirt, why is it so yellow, right?
It's got cool colors,
Yeah,
but they're
it
not
does.
integrated.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. That's what I was.
So cut.
yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break now. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Good job, everyone.
Do I take this off?
You do, yes. Wonderful.
So we're on to the. Is this what we're up to?
No, they're fine. And then you need to plug that other one in, Bunny. Hang on.
Oh yeah. Is that on?
Yep.
Okay.
And turn that on. Just hold the button down the bottom. That one. Yep. Just hold it. You'll see. Keep holding. It's on. Yep. Yep. Perfect.
Say something?
Oh, are we ready to start almost? Just checking the sound again. Rhubarb. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
We
Should we
good?
continue?
Are we ready to continue?
Yep. Good to go.
Ready to go? Okay.
Yep. We're all good. Oh, hang on.
You okay, Natalia? Are you okay sitting there? Are you okay on the edge?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm on the edge all the time. So,
Yeah, you go first.
I think that this is the case of a very nice and complicated piece, which the sculpt and the base is elevating the painting actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would give it a bronze.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it's an interesting one to start because it's got such a high visual impact.
But then the miniature doesn't
It
have enough
miniature
impact.
Drowns
Yes.
in the background.
And it's a well, we'll move on, but it is I guess it's got really
flair.
high. It's a great competition piece because it's got such high visual impact. But we as judges, we're talking about silver and gold here, so we need to go right into the
Like I said earlier, you've got to be able to get this kind of attention on the shelf, but then you've got to back it up.
and back it up
once
with
we
the
get
exactly.
closer. So
But it's really cool. I love
you've got
this.
one of the two.
I don't want to look at this miniature at all. I just want to look at the base.
Yeah, the base.
It should be more
Yeah.
This is just amazingly well painted. Though.
Yeah, I love
Beautiful.
it. It's really interesting piece.
Bronze.
Yep.
Okay, so my this one. I really like the sculpt.
Don't worry, so this has a little bit of flex in it. It's okay to bend,
okay,
you can hold it from behind.
Okay.
So maybe, yeah.
Wobble.
I think that this is a great case of a miniature with more toned down painting.
Yeah.
And it has a nice finish. I think maybe her clothing could more, but again the rubber is really nice.
I don't know how to classify this.
It's
I don't know
difficult.
where
It's
to
more.
put it.
It's because it's a vehicle. It's different sort of
Yeah.
parameters. Isn't it? I mean,
It's almost like a different.
I think.
Yeah.
I think the painting
makes me
on
wanna
the
paint.
vehicle is really nice and interesting, and so it makes you want to paint. I
Something
guess
like this, yeah.
maybe that's. I think that I haven't seen what the kit might look like in box art. I'm not familiar, but I feel like that kind of clay pink and the turquoise inside is such an interesting combination.
Yes.
And the velvety on top is a great juxtaposition with the two. With also
It's
the
a great way
colours.
to make
is
it
a-
fit into
Yeah.
the categories
And
that we
the green on her ties in with the green down on the base too.
It does, but we have a problem
yes.
of the finish of the.
That's right. The character is the painting level isn't of the same
face is pretty good.
quality.
But just the camo needs to
But,
have
but
the
since it's a vehicle, maybe she's like part of the base. So in a way.
But base should be as good as the
Well,
miniature.
yes. But she's not. This is the main part. Like the face of the miniature is here. Not
Okay,
here.
but she's not finished.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I
So
absolutely
where do we
agree.
put
That's what I.
it though?
That's
I
What do you
would
think?
say that this is a bronze, this is silver, this is
Silver,
bronze,
yeah.
I would put it in bronze.
bronze.
I would like
But
to.
it could be close to silver.
It could be, yes. We can review
I would.
that.
Yeah. I happy with that. But I think silver edging down.
Yeah.
But just because I think I like that it's different, and I think it's nice to reward something which is different.
I agree with that. I can.
Different and creative, and there's a lot of work in all the weathering. It's
Yeah,
all
it's
consistent.
beautiful.
Nothing's been neglected.
I don't know if it comes through in the
definitely-
video, but this is really nice to look at. I could sit here and
It's
look
beautiful,
at this for
yeah.
like a long time, I feel like.
And yes,
And you just keep finding details the longer you look.
yeah, and I like to reward that. But I agree. It's the issue is the woman sitting on the top. Otherwise, there'll be no doubt. So, Deno, I say silver. Because I think I
on
like
the
the
border
differentness of
Yeah,
it.
because the model is really not
They
finished.
controls.
Basically,
Because we can't. It's whether we can overlook the level of the on the top. This is silver for sure.
I think it's silver because of the impact of the overall.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I should be holding it.
She's definitely weaker
Yeah.
than this. It's probably, if she's not on there,
Yeah.
you may be talking about gold.
Yeah.
It's a competition, right? And we should be like, I don't know, like I won't be stubborn about that, but I don't. I think that
True, she is there, though.
she is
Yeah,
It's
there.
too bad to be in silver.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Put it on the border or the side. Yeah.
Okay, so this one. Okay,
I can hold it. It's just like quite a subtle paint job compared to some we've seen in terms of lighting, but it also has some. I really like the creative basing here, and the blue. You know, there's something being done. It's subtle, but there's lighting with this blue glow and the pink on the top. Some interesting colours here. I would like personally some more contrast and light. And I think you probably feel the same, Natalia. But what do you think?
Yes, but in general, I really like this
Yeah.
painting. And I don't
It's a
think
different
that,
style.
Yeah, it has a nice finish and.
Yeah, and there's
A lot of
some
nice
real nice
elements, like
micro
all of
contrast.
these.
So yeah, there's not
details
just
in
the sorry with the camera. There's not just the like markings, but there's like splatter as well, like levels of texture detail.
So where does it go though?
I would border between bronze and silver, I think.
I think it needs to be silver because it has that extra creative element as well as being. There's nothing wrong.
I
It's all
think bronze,
everything's
but-
being treated.
It doesn't have enough contrast for silver.
I think it doesn't have enough impact. I disagree.
Can I see? Just let me see this contrast.
Yeah, but I think with the contrast, we can't only judge by our standards, right? Our standards we are usually using for our painting. And I think that this is a good example of
It's a more subtle lighting.
of more simple.
I can accept silver if you guys really want it.
Well, do you think
I
this
guess
is like the
It's got a lot
aqua
of really
glow
nice.
and it's
a lot
absolutely
of really
extra.
nice
And
elements.
think of the bronzes we've given, and this has extended
Yeah,
that. Yes?
but I'm just not sure whether it gets quite into silver compared to some of the silvers that we've chosen. But let's put it on the edge.
But also, most of the silvers are not as clever with composition.
Yeah, so let's put it in silver.
It's a create
but it
with
could
extra-
fall to, well, probably won't fall to bronze, but yeah.
I think that this is border maybe on bronze or on gold, but we would have to see the other
Silver.
colors.
Yep. Yep. I've seen it. I mean, I don't mean to. It in a dismissive way. I mean, I've seen it before.
Bronze for me.
You guys.
I need to have a closer
I'll do
look.
it. You do it.
Yeah, bronze.
Yes, I think that's. I'm happy with that. It's nice. It's definitely nice.
And the potential
Yeah.
to move to silver.
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
Next
It's
year
nice,
they'll be
yeah.
getting silvers if they haven't got any
Okay, so I think that the
base.
green shadows coming from the base are very interesting.
That's definitely the main point. Like the thing is
I
that
like
really
this
interesting.
focus area, like here, where
Teal,
the focus
yeah.
is really nice. Like when I look here, I think silver, but
But then
then the rest of it doesn't keep up with that. So I don't know where to put this now. Like it's got to be a bronze,
Borderline bronze.
but also potentially cut.
Oh, it's not a cut.
I know,
It's-
but like some of these unfinished
I agree.
bits on the
Base
bases.
is a cut, and
But this is it's silver here, like,
That's a
and then
bronze.
bases. So it's a bronze, yeah.
Okay, bronze.
This face is
But
just
it's with a
beautiful.
really
It's
nice-
so
I'm
nice, yeah.
I'm going to put it in
It's a
between
beautiful-
bronze and silver for you. to
Yep.
discuss.
silver for sure. Maybe with gold potential. It could have like
It's
more
definitely
rings.
silver.
It's definitely at least silver, yeah.
But the face, I don't know why, but the face feels splotchy or something.
It's also very neutral. Like it has no expression.
Yeah,
basically.
and that should be the focus. Maybe the focus is the dog, but the values.
There's some
aren't
really
quite-
cool touches, like the tiny butterfly
And the
on the
base is
nose,
beautiful.
and the base fits really well. I like the
Silver.
kind of multi-levels
Yeah,
of the
but
base.
also like you
But
see like the butterfly
Yeah.
on the dog's nose,
Yes.
right? It's something that she should notice. And
Yeah, she
like,
should be
and-
looking,
And if she was looking on the dog,
that's
it
right.
would
I guess
create
that's
a
the difference.
correlation.
If it was to go to
But
gold,
then-
it would need those. They're the extra little
And the
finesse details.
fur,
The fur,
it's just so good.
it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a silver
So-
though.
Because of the fur, I was
This
considering gold.
metal part up here is really nice too.
Yeah.
That shoulder is really nice. It's really good. It's a really strong
Strong
silver.
piece. And the
With
leather,
a
everything.
few
This is really good. It's so
tiny
close to
touches,
gold.
it would
So
go
close
to
to
a
gold.
strong
I'll
gold.
cusp it. Cusp silver gold.
Okay.
I don't think it can make it to gold personally, but
Oh, sorry. You okay? Are you okay with me just to hold it?
Yeah, it's
I'm in the middle.
I was
easier
trying
in the
to
middle.
be
Easier.
where we go.
Oh, okay. I don't want to snatch them from you. Yeah.
can you turn it
I think it's a bronze.
bronze? Yep.
Yep. I agree.
But that's a high bronze.
It's a
I
good.
think.
It's a good bronze. Lots of really good elements, but
It's,
it doesn't
um,
have that. The
a little bit
the,
more
what we-
technical.
the thing we just looked at,
Yeah.
the silver had all that smooth technicality, which is the.
So it's a little bit more technicality than that.
Yeah.
That one goes up into silver, I think. This one's good.
This one is good, but it lacks the finish, I think. Some areas like the shield is great. Right? But again, like there is no black lining on around the back and like it just looks like a bit unfinished because the colors are just bleeding into each other.
I actually think the skin on the back is better than the
Yes,
skin
it
on the
does.
front.
Yeah.
And I like
The
these.
hammer is
I like
really
these like
interesting, yeah.
verdigris. This is
Yeah.
nice. This is silver, I think.
I think it is low silver.
Yeah, but it can't be. It's not low enough to be a bronze, but it's silver. Yeah.
It's a silver.
You okay?
Okay.
With that?
Yep. I think that's right. I think that's right.
Bronze. Oh, okay. Turned it. Bronze. But
It's
it's close to silver though.
not for me. It's
It's
a
a cut for me.
yeah. It's a bronze or a cut. I'm on the edge.
I see it's
It's
closer. I need to understand.
it's because the.
Look
Okay,
at the colour in
this
the
all of
skin.
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but there's too many neglected areas
That's a
around
bronze.
here. It's definitely it's definitely bronze, but
Why do you
it
want to
doesn't
cut?
have that. If it doesn't have that, again, that
If it had
smoothness or
and
finesse or
if it had something other than yellow, maybe even just some red in the shadows, or even just blue, something.
Do you know what I think is actually hurting that is there's a tiny little bit of gloss in and around there. I think that's actually hurting that separation, like particularly around the bottom. And because I think the overall,
shield is nice.
the overall technicality of it is actually really, really strong. But there's probably not enough.
this fur. The fur.
Probably not
it's
enough
very hard to paint.
areas that are different atmospheres. But I think that's a bronze.
Paint this black.
Watch everyone paint our ones black next year.
I've had a good look at this one before.
The gloss is
I think it's it's a really creative idea that hasn't been executed quite well enough for a metal, but it's it's an interesting.
You don't think it gets a
take.
bronze?
Their face is really interesting and
the horns
amazing, but there's
and the hair.
enough. We've
this-
cut other things for this reason.
The script work
green doesn't
here.
belong with the color scheme. I know.
So
Amazing
nice.
micro details.
And the detail, the micro details on like
Yeah.
the blood from the eyes and the third eye, and then like under the chin.
Oh, absolutely. But then there are other.
This is a commended then, I think.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting and creative entry to look at.
I hope that they'll
And
keep
it's-
working at it because I'd love to see more from them.
Cut.
Commended, yeah. But cut, yeah. Where is the camera? I really like this. Yeah. We'll need to see what goes into gold, but this is.
Okay, that's cool.
Silver.
Sorry, excuse me. Yep, I agree.
Silver.
Definitely
High
agree.
silver. Yep.
Yep. It's it's a.
This could be in the discussion for best in show.
I think it's a. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that because I think it's the only thing missing from this.
I don't think
the
it's going to get
technique
there, but it could be in there.
Everything's, everything that's there is fantastic and amazing, but it's that extra creative flair is the extra thing that we need.
Gold. Bronze for me.
Oh, it's definitely silver, at least.
Let me see
Why,
this.
what's your problem with it, Dave? It's unusual. I like the unusual. I think is it just because the armor is light? It's
Yeah, okay. Silver is fine.
yeah.
It's this sword.
This is like the classic Games Workshop sword, right?
No, and it's like stripy and white where everything else is yellow.
So that's why I think
Oh,
that
sure,
this is not gold because it's not perfect.
Yeah. Okay, silver is okay.
But it's
yeah.
really solid. I mean, it's
very, very solid.
Yeah.
Bronze.
I like the purple shadows.
Silver?
Very partial to purple. Can I see this?
This one,
I don't like the only one splash of magenta on the.
It's a bit too bright.
I
Like
think
maybe
if
this,
I like the eye makeup had
yeah,
been the
if
same.
it was the same
yeah.
color, we would
Yeah,
just thought,
yeah,
thought
yeah.
the same thing, and maybe even the hair to balance it.
Just taking away
Silver.
Your call. I think bronze or silver.
I think silver.
Yeah, I think it's a silver.
You think that's
Stronger execution than most of the bronzes.
okay? Yep.
but actually
Well,
Silver.
don't you think though it's missing like all the veins and things?
Why
Make
is
it
it
seem
silver?
like
some detailing of this phrasing.
I don't. It's bronze maximum for me.
I lean towards cut.
Yeah, it's bronze or cut for me. I'm missing. Look, it's clean and nice, but I'm missing
Bronze.
lighting on the the hair. Like it's the same.
Reflected
all over.
red into the white again.
If with that much red, something needs to be done with it. It's
Yeah.
it's just red. It's not.
Bronze.
For
I think I could go bronze.
What
I have an issue with this because this has much better finish than other bronzes, right? But it has no artistic merit, beside the vertically over. So I have very disconnection.
This texture is nice on the shoulder pad.
It does. But it's just texture, right? So I
What do
have
you think,
a
Seb?
disconnection.
same as a bronze or
I'd say
I'm
bronze.
happy with bronze.
Yep.
silver.
Very nice cut. I love it. I wonder who sculpted it.
I wonder.
Makes you
I
wanna
really
paint
like.
it.
I really like the markings. It's so creative. It's meant to look like, you know, that it's inspired by cassowary. That's a bird we have in Australia.
Oh yes, it is.
And
But
I know it well. It's
the detail you have here is not matching the detail you have.
Yeah, like these bones could really have.
Yeah, I think that just adding some more detail on the bones over here would solve the
And
problem.
can I
I
see
think
the?
this area is so nuts. I really like this part is fantastic, and I like this orange part down here. I think if there was more, like on the feathers on the top, maybe more, you know, right, they're sort of a bit the same all over. If they were kind of something done on top of the head,
And
or
there's a gloss
to
finish
move
certain
into
areas that
this.
I wish wasn't
brown.
there, but silver.
But it's solid. It's strong.
This one, for me, this is gold.
I haven't looked at it yet.
It's not perfect, but the detailing and just the textures.
Silver?
I feel silver as well, but it could be a gold. We haven't chosen many gold.
Okay, so
They're
Don't worry,
coming.
mate. The
They're
goals are
coming.
coming.
finish over here is
Sorry.
not perfect, so silver. Okay.
Yep.
But I really like
It's
this.
really great, commendable silver. All solid. Yeah.
Okay, so another strong is really nice tattoos. And it's a very calm painting, right? But all
Yes.
the highlights are in the right
Well, this is a good example
positions.
of having picked out those. So everything's sort of the same color here, but they've been picked out properly, the detail. So, you know, like you're saying, the black line or the something to separate all the layers. Even though they're the same color, they've been separated. I think that's what you've been
Where are you?
missing on others. But
That's a silver /
Silver. Yeah, it could be a gold.
Yeah, because it's not as colorful as maybe other golds because we are drawn
But I don't.
the fur is
I don't
really
want to take away from that being not colorful because
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
that's the theme.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking silver / gold.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's
Could be
a
gold.
color painting,
It could be
but
gold.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the gold.
I'm gonna pass you this one. Good luck on camera. We'll put that in silver. That one is silver.
High silver, yeah.
Ah,
Good lord.
but
Yeah, this ain't going in camera.
well,
Can it zoom out?
we'll have to check the gallery online.
I'm not gonna zoom out because it's too.
I'll just move it around.
A really close
Okay,
look.
so how do you want to come down on judging with this?
Cut.
Are we?
Bronze.
I'm an expert in this sort of work.
Yeah, this is your kind of thing, Trent.
Allow me to discuss. I think when you look at this, you can't fixate on specific small details,
Yeah.
right? You can't go, this knee pad isn't painted as well as the rest, because that's missing the point of what you're trying to do with this, which is tell a story. And I think of the dioramas that are here, this one has probably the strongest story, the strongest narrative. There's certainly elements that need more refining. In particular, I think overall the metals are the biggest thing that lets this down because they're not coming from a consistent
And not
lighting.
painting
we-
the stuff on the base.
Actually, don't think that the metals are as important, but look at the base, like on the rocks, they are so flat.
So what he probably needed to do was darken this whole area,
Yeah.
I agree.
so the focus is coming in here. But the reason I say the metals is when you are looking at a scene like this, you need all of the metals to be reflecting light from the same direction, right? Because they are all in the same scene. And this is not the case here. We've got metals being reflected from fucking thousands of different directions, right? So,
Yeah, sure.
but I
Bronze?
think this is bronze.
It's got some
silver.
No way
nice
silver.
compositional elements.
Bronze.
Bronze
Perfect.
cut,
All right.
but bronze.
It's got nice compositional.
Yeah,
Diagonal
composition is good. I want to
lines
see more.
and-
I want to
yeah.
see more. I want to see this
So
person take this
I think
further.
we need to reward those, like it's a diorama, so we need to reward the work and the compositional elements, which are good, and the potential, which is also really good.
I can't imagine the time.
Yep.
Bronze.
So
Bronze for this,
definitely.
and then the other large diorama by the same person is stronger, so I think silver for that. That's the giant.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
silver for that. Yep.
My
I think for me the only concern is I find I mean, maybe it's the point, but the green is like jarring against the rest of the color scheme,
And it
or
should
at least
be
it should be
glowing
glowing onto it.
It doesn't have to
bring
be
it together. It
overpowering.
sort of seems very separate, but that's not the end of the world. It's
but when we are talking about the colors, right? We have the strong green, which is fighting with the rest of the miniature,
Yeah.
and then on the miniature we have contrast with blue and red,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
very strong also. So
Yes.
I think that the something should be redust. Even,
Yeah.
That's dust.
reduced. Yes.
Yeah, so either we shouldn't have like the contrast between red and blue.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
actually
if
think
it-
that
I think if the
yes.
blue was neutral or something, or
Yes. So I think that the cacophony of the colors just creates like the strange feeling that
Yes.
it just doesn't go together.
the environment seems strange.
technical
but the
Is quite high, and
Yes,
I
and
think
it's-
this is a high silver. Yeah, is that what we're talking about? You think bronze?
No, I think that for silvers, the color choices should be
Better.
good, should be better.
So you think bronze?
I think bronze, yes.
I
It doesn't work. It's
I-
well painted, but it doesn't work.
I agree with that. I agree that it's really well painted, but that's the first thing I said. My instant feeling is that
clash of the
something's
colour,
wrong,
yeah.
and although it's silver level, it's if your first thought is something's wrong, maybe it shouldn't be silver.
Okay.
But
I can
it's
understand,
a
yeah.
tough one because I think in a way it deserves a silver.
So again, glossy finish on the fur, where it should be darker, but I really like the face. It's really nice.
Yeah, this line where the
beautiful
light is
from-
amazing,
yeah.
and like this
Yeah.
work in the the anatomy of
Yes.
the lower body is my favorite part of this model. But
Yes.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
I
this
wish it
section
was
is beautiful.
continued to the rest.
Yes.
But this
There's-
is just beautiful.
That's so nice. It's so nice there. But
That's
then
all I wanna
up
look
this part is not to the same. It's very neglected.
And I don't
It's
like
very-
gloss in shadow areas. Like it could be matte and it would be okay, or a bit better maybe. But
So
Also, like a small detail again, like can we move it around? This should be better to the base.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
this
the-
is just like hanging there, right?
and there's some super glue
Yes. Yes, we're gonna finish.
frosting.
So what?
Just wipe
well,
it off.
so what do we do with something which is
I think that
stunning
this
from
is
here
at
and
least bronze.
Bronze, yeah.
Okay.
At least bronze.
yeah?
I'll
Could
cusp
be,
it.
could be could be a silver.
I don't think it's good.
No.
Not this one. Like
The previous one, yeah.
this one.
This one could be gold.
I really like the hair and her face, so I think it could be gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that this is definitely gold. Like maybe this, or is it because like this over here, the finish is much worse than on the rest of the model, right? But I'm not sure if we should be as picky. So maybe on the verge between silver and gold.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The face is definitely gold. Like
Yeah,
that,
and
the face
the-
and,
this
and the
one
armor and around here, yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
armor
I
over
like
here
the
is
texture
really
in the
nice.
skulls and stuff. This is a gold for me, even
but-
with those deficiencies.
It has
If-
a lot.
if those areas were better, that would put it in contention potentially. I don't know what else there is for best in show, but if those areas were better, it would raise it to the top end of gold. But this is just gold.
I may agree.
Or do you feel silver?
I think that this is
Yes.
this is silver only because like
Yeah.
these elements which are not painted well are put just next to the face, which is
Yeah.
very very good.
Yeah.
So these are close to focal points, and I would
Yes.
put a not blended elements further away from the key.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. Yeah, because you can lose the resolution the further away.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
use that to your
And
advantage.
here you have so strong contrast just because it's not blended.
Yeah.
You know, like he could or she could spend like
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours more just to
Yeah.
blend it a little bit more, and that would be
Even just one layer of like
Well,
yeah.
Vallejo model color smoke, over
Especially
that
this side.
would fix it.
Yes,
Especially this side.
really
Yeah.
good. So I think
So-
it's silver.
It's a very high, very very high.
I'll put it on the
silver.
cusp, please.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Yeah, but I don't know whether I've seen. Like, is this the same as someone else's?
We did.
David
I'm not
Aroba?
sure. Do you think so?
I'm not sure.
Can we
It
check?
feels familiar. Is this the same as David Aroba's?
Same colours?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Is it the same as anyone's?
No.
It feels familiar.
We have to check.
Because it's one of the greatest models ever made, mate, so.
I like it.
Well, yeah, I like it.
Gold.
Yes, gold.
Definitely. It's well. This is an example of the level we just looked at,
Yeah.
but
all
without
over.
the problems.
Yeah.
Everything's been treated properly, so there's no obvious, issues or anything. So there's nothing stopping it.
And I feel like this is a contender.
Well,
We'll see what's
Yeah.
there. I don't know what's going to be
Yeah.
gold. Yeah. High gold.
This place is really nice. And
Ah,
again,
yeah,
this is
it's-
like nice down.
My straight reaction is gold on this one.
I've seen this a lot. I have a few small problems. I think it's silver.
Let me look closer.
Yeah, look closer.
Yeah.
Up close you can see that it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
It may be a silver. And the gloss finish again, nice.
So close to gold to me. Like just a bit more finish. Silver.
Alright, I'll put it on the cusp for you. Here, I'm going to give you this one now, because it's a heavy bar. Dave, you got it, mate?
Yeah, got
Watch
it,
the
got it,
camera
got
at
it,
the
got
top.
it,
Watch the
got it.
camera at the top.
Okay, so
You got it.
I've got it.
maybe bronze. I think that this is the case where the complexity of the model elevates.
Yeah. Silver. It's not quite gold for me.
Would you say
It's
Natalia,
not-
bronze?
I would say bronze, yes.
I think that's a cusp between bronze and silver, and you guys can bump it when you.
Yeah.
when you
This-
Okay.
this
I agree
work
with
in
that.
the
I think
wings
there's a lot
is-
of work, and I'm torn because it's nice to. Like, it's so big. There's so much work, and I like that's nice to reward. Also, the metallics, real metallics,
Yes,
are nice.
again, like, you have
But
to
I know, and I think
base.
we've talked a lot about the bases on others. It's got the same issue with the. It's not sophisticated enough to bring the level up. It's
That's the painting you mean.
But again,
painting and the
but
composition.
again, you were talking about silver for this one, but see, like there is no separation between they are just flat painted, right?
Yeah, I agree. Is it lacking the maybe if also I don't want to pick it apart too much, but if the face was painted like on a spectacular way to make it a real focal point, maybe it would add some. But it's really
But
it's
this
the
is
same
really
all
like
over,
eye
but
catching
it's-
on the shelf as well. But so
Of
what
course,
are we doing? A
it's
bronze or
gigantic.
silver?
I would give it a bronze.
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 Okay.
And you guys can, if you want to bump it, you can bump it.
This is a good example of a backdrop, I think.
Of a backdrop.
Backdrop.
Yes.
Yeah, and like this light is casting some extra shadows, but without extra lamp, it looks really
Yes.
I have a feeling this is very similar to Andy Wardle's version.
It may be, but I don't remember how out this was.
It's yes, It's
I think he did a background,
Yeah.
but I'm not 100% sure.
it's this is I think this is a case of very high level of technical painting, which is maybe the only thing lacking is that extra creative flair or risk or concept, because it's very safe. It's beautiful. There's so much work. The resin is amazing.
Can't have a look at
The
it's at the top of this
But
pin one.
also the resin has like issues over here, right? There is
Yeah,
see the disconnect?
it's different enough for me. See, the background is the same. It's different.
Oh, it's
model,
different.
but
Okay, so
Same
different.
background, but yeah, that's
It's
okay.
not
It's
really
fine.
the same.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mixing the elements
Yeah.
from Andy Wattles too, but yeah,
and now, do you think it's a gold or
silver.
silver? Okay.
But it,
I think it's
Very
very
close
high
to
silver.
gold.
If it had another creative element to
Yeah.
kind of give it some extra zing, or like
And-
I mean, and yes, it has got a very creative element with the water and the backdrop, but it's
Yeah.
such a
and I know that
neutral
this is
color scheme.
unfair to judge by.
Oh no, I'm not going to worry about
But
that
it bugs me.
personally. That's well, I think we'll
Silver.
silver, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Trend comes back.
I think that there's it's between really nicely painted miniature and very
Silver.
too saturated.
And high silver.
Yes, yeah. It's a shame that
If
that green is so
everything was-
different, such a different hue, and
Everything was adjusted, I would give it a gold.
Yeah.
But right now I think it's more.
it's a super subtle paint job. If you look at the scales, they like kind of color shift as they go down.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yep. And it's
It's the
also
way the
up here
scales
too.
sort of color shift, and it's really
And this resin work is some of the best I've seen, like the fish.
Okay, so do you think that the resin is elevating this work to gold?
No, it's silver.
Okay, so
But
silver.
it's another one that's close to gold.
Yes.
it's a very
I'm
high.
gonna put that on the cusp for you guys.
This is a gold for me.
When Trent says that, I feel like
He feels like yeah, he doesn't agree.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I think
Yeah.
I think this one has it has the same problem we just talked about with
Yeah.
the green, but it has more going on with the figure. That there's more kind of
It's just a little
No.
bit higher than that one.
Yeah,
and
it's
that
got
one was
more-
close to gold. This is
But
gold.
no, I think that it's like it's not the previous one
I-
had better finish. I think that the technique was better, and this one has better colors but less technique. So
I think this. I don't know. I think this needs to be a gold.
Yeah.
Because it has enough extra elements, like if you look at the blue on the back, like the way that the hue shifts from like indigo up to the jade
but
green,
again, like,
and the
we have-
yellow, the lighting,
yeah, but
and the
again, we are talking about gold, right? And with the gold, when we are painting the non-metallic metals, and we are having so strong colors, it should be reflected, and it's not reflected at all. So I think that it's a nice painting, but it's a good voice for me, and I feel very strongly about that.
Silver
Yeah.
I think that's a gold.
might be getting overruled by 2 to 1
Yeah.
on this one.
Give it the gold, I will cry and.
Right, you can cry as much as you want. I don't give a shit.
I understand what you're talking about.
I do.
I think is what would stop it being like a best of show or something like that, or like would stop it being a
No, but
kind
guys,
of.
look at this, like over here, right? It's a bronze level over here. It's not as perfect like the previous base. You can,
Yeah.
right? Here are the bases.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, look how elevated this looks over here.
But
and
this figure-
and this is like very.
Yeah, God,
choppy
this is a
and
tricky
hard. So
one.
I think that this is a silver, guys. Seriously, this is a silver. And do you want to really?
So
keep going to
this base is better This painting is significantly better than this one, I think.
I would agree. I think that the paintings are comparable. This one is just more
Flashy.
more saturated and more
It's a different style, and it's very it's a style that
They,
I'm very.
they could both go
yeah, because
gold.
this is more Sergio Calvo and this is more like Olive.
Oliver Spade.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that they're either both gold.
They are both similar. I think like this is more gold than this, in my opinion.
Let's put them on the
I don't.
edge. We've got to see what else goes into gold
Seb?
to decide that. I think. Are you okay with putting them on the edge? Because we're
Let's
starting to get to the
put
crux
these
of it.
on review edge, and let's go and find the rest that are definite golds, and then we'll decide that way.
I really like the colors over here. They are.
I'm not sure if I.
What do you think about this one, Dave?
No, I'm not sure I can vote because I've given a lot of feedback while they were painting it.
Oh, very unusual, unexpected on the back.
But again, if you are going for gold, it should be reflected somewhere on the shoulder parts, right? Because this is very, very intense, and it would be visible even slightly on some angles.
It is very intense. But I mean,
But
is
I
that
think
significant enough to?
No, I don't think this is
Because the
enough.
back
I would give you the gold.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not. I like to focus on. Well, we do have to look at negative for gold, but I mean,
So
there's
just-
so much positive.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. And we can put it into the silver. Go away. This is. We can put it into gold and then discuss, right?
Okay, for me, okay. Well, let's put this in gold.
And this is silver.
Thanks, bud.
This one is interesting to me because it's. This one's difficult to judge. I think. Do you agree that it's got an unusual sort of
technical finish.
Yeah, like the whether it's like the value of is quite high all across, but it sort of works in a interesting way. And my first instinct was to say something like it's missing some sort of dark elements, but I've changed my mind now that I'm looking at it. It's sort of like got this.
It's
Yeah,
assembled incorrectly over here. Like, do you see like this really dent?
I think we have to give people a break.
Not when it's
slightly
going.
on.
Not when it's going to gold.
Yeah,
It's a silver.
If it's
but
minor.
silver.
let me see.
But not in gold. Like the assembly of the model is a basic skill a golden painter should have, right? And
Yeah.
I know, but if it's comes down to two things, I would rather reward a positive than, penalize for a minor negative.
But
And I know it's
But I
important.
still think this is silver already.
it
though.
is silver. Yes, I wouldn't give it the gold.
Well, it's definitely minimum silver.
Silver.
Definitely
Alright.
silver.
Yeah. Comparatively, this is not as strong as the others.
Alright, yeah.
Painters.
Okay, so I think this is a strong silver with a possibility for gold. But I don't think that the finish, like the base is very interesting and actually it creates sound of the storytelling,
Yeah.
making the miniature richer, but I think that technically it's silver.
The texture on the cloak makes me a little. I'm sure about it. What do you think, Dave?
It seems slapdash.
I mean, it's a good example of a real angle figure, isn't it? I mean, this part's so beautiful through
Yeah,
here.
but you have like strong highlight over here, but there is no continuation
Yeah.
on the base.
Let me see the face.
So
Dave, you did the box art for that model, so you're a good
You
judge.
should know.
I did it.
Dave did.
They
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Silver.
Silver.
It is.
Now,
This is great storytelling over
Yeah.
here.
I love this one.
Yeah.
This is a really good example of
Just so you know, these are the last 6 entries. These are, I think, the strongest 6
Okay.
entries, but you guys are able to make that call.
This one is a really great example of like Mac's storytelling creative idea. You know, and I think
And even though the technical level is a little bit lower, it is still elevated by the storytelling. and
elevated
execution.
so much by that extra
Yeah.
storytelling.
Well,
Gold.
I'm not. I'm biased because this is one of my favorite Papa Jumbos, and as I said before, I love Papa Jumbos, so I could give it the gold.
Gold.
Are you happy to give it a gold?
Yes, I would be.
I think it's got.
Technically, I think it
this
isn't
has.
gold.
yes,
but-
but
I think if it
Artistically,
if
it's
it didn't
gold.
have all the extras, I think would be like, oh well, you know, having more of a conversation. But I think it has so much extra
Yeah,
added that it's like very memorable, original, and it has to be rewarded with the gold. It's also got a lot of dust on the top. A lot of dust. Yeah.
I think that the should be black. This is at best. This is silver for me.
At best, did you say?
Yeah, at best. Because the fur is interesting, like the detailing is nice, but I think that technically it's not a gold. And it doesn't have like more creative, merit. So I actually think that maybe the shell in the back is painted better, or the coat when the bow, the arrow
Quiver,
thing,
yeah.
it's like dirty a little bit. So it's just the skin, like it's.
This one has
But
the
it's
standout on the
got-
shelf
it's got
effect. and it's
that
also got
extra. I'll tilt it so the camera can see. It's got that extra. Has there been a version like this painted before? I'm not.
Yeah.
There has been
Victor Ferrer did one.
an orange one like this. So I was going to say it has that kind of originality. Maybe not quite as much as I first thought, but it.
Again, like
it's-
it's just a orange skin. Like there is no
Sure.
ban for putting a skin
Yeah,
color.
compared to what we just looked at, which had extended the sculpt in a creative way. I guess how we extended beyond. It's an unusual skin color. It's very striking. I don't know. When this is one where first glance is
Gold, but then
and then you start to
technically-
think, yeah,
It's.
For example, like
Yeah.
the line over here is not clean, so
I think it's silver.
yeah. It's
I think it's going to be hard to.
So close.
I think we need to. I think this. I hear what you're saying. I think it's going to be difficult not to give this gold in the context of the competition, but because it's so visually striking. But let's compare. Let's.
Bronze for sure.
let's-
Is this
That's another one on the edge.
Yeah.
okay, so this is gold.
This is another perfect example of the, creative concept,
amazing.
and taking the sculpture we've all seen and making it very different and really.
This is
I
gold,
think
right?
Dave, you said it's
I
like
just-
a weird, sinister feeling.
This is great, but I think that the only
Hmm.
minus are the out of scale apples over here. Aside of that,
Apples are as big as her head, mate.
big as apples.
We get some pretty big apples in Australia.
Yeah.
They go with the
They're not
spiders.
Polish apples, they're Australian apples.
If I have a critique of this, and it's partly because we're holding in such strong lighting, but I would like it if it was really dark around everywhere, like a really dark forest. It's
See, like
and all if everything was really dark and deep, and just like even the dwarves were coming more out of darkness, and just she was lit, I think that would make it even more of a narrative. Whereas the lighting is sort of more global, but I don't. That's not anything that's stopping it from being. It's
I'll take it, it's gold.
yeah. Of course. We'll talk about the other
contender.
later.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
contender.
I would be a controversial silver.
I agree.
Controversial.
I thought that we will fight over this.
Sorry, 1 second. Okay. I have my thoughts on this already, but what do you? Tell me your thoughts first.
Because
Why?
it doesn't have
fit the
any,
green scene.
yeah, it's disconnected, and also like it's I appreciate the whiskers. I think that it needs some kind of general highlight, and it has none basically.
But
I
it's hard to not put this in gold though. It feels gold, but then it doesn't as well. Like there's just like patchy.
Yeah, it's not gold. Like the finish is too low for a gold piece, basically.
But this base is totally gold level.
It is not like look at the finish of this skeleton. It's actually, I think that the highlight, it has more highlight than this whole miniature basically.
well, that's the issue for me too. Like so, I think you know that the problem is the lack of. Again, it's similar to what we just said about the previous piece. If it's the value sort of similar all over or something.
Yeah.
Like there's no clear area to
Needs focus.
focus the concept.
And also the finish, like this looks like it was dry brushed basically, and it doesn't have this higher finish like the gold pieces deserve. I think, and also like this sphere, it looks like it's dry brushed basically, or just base coated with a dry brush. I think that it's really technical.
I think you're being tough. I understand. What I mean.
I think in the context,
I understand what you're
in
saying.
the context of the entries
It's-
that we have, this is a gold. In the context of the competition, when you look at the balance of all of the entries, I think some of the things that Natalia is pointing out in a European competition would be an observation that you might agree with. But I think with what the standard of what we have here, if this is not a gold, we don't have any golds.
I think it needs.
That's just your opinion. Though,
That is,
you know.
that's my opinion.
But I think that if you are painting a piece that is very complicated, and then you are putting it on a base which is very complicated, and then you pour some resin onto it, I don't think that only those factors create a gold. And I think that this is the strongest factors over here that are working.
But there's
for the gold for it.
so. I mean, the tiger fur is.
It's not that good. It's not. Sorry, I will be like. It's really,
I like it.
But it's like the detailing is not that good. It's sloppy. You know, like in general, this is very well painted miniature, but this is not the gold, right?
And you think the same, do you, Dave?
Not for the same reasons. I just think it lacks focus.
Well, that's my only issue with it. But that's more of an issue which would, when we're talking about best of show type, those sorts of things, is that I would worry more
The
about
lack
that.
of focus is what puts it down into silver for me, because everything gets lost together.
You think it's such an extreme lack of focus?
Yeah.
Or do you think is it so?
Like
it's so
when I see it from far away,
ill-supported by the base,
I want to come in and be wowed by everything, and I'm not. And I wish I was, because I can see this getting best in show with only a little bit more in various areas, but then those areas where it's missing and the lack of focus drops it out of gold for me. But I don't know. It's hard to judge.
This is a very difficult one to judge.
You
It's
know,
really
just take out the base.
well, but you can't though. Can you? Don't you think it's part?
You
I mean,
can,
it's
but-
because the amount of.
Yeah, but see, like this is, for me personally, like, and I would be generous to give this type of painting silver, right? And this base is okay. So this is like, if you want to give a gold to this base, then the median, like the between would be silver. So that's because it's silver for me. And see again, like, see how the masses over here are painted.
Okay, let's
Can
we
just
see
put
what
it
else is
aside
in gold?
and let's finish off.
Okay, so now
We're almost finished. So let's get the
thing.
golds, and we don't have that many golds and
Is
silver.
this
So
kind
let's
of painting
compare them.
comparable to this kind of painting? Really?
I haven't looked at this one yet.
I don't know whether I can have input on this one again either.
When did
Because
you
I
just
gave
stop talking
feedback.
to you?
No, but I gave feedback while he was
I've,
working on
I've
it.
had to have input
Yeah.
on things I've seen.
Okay.
I think the base is a little bit too flat, but the non-metallic metals are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is spectacular. The shield and this part, really beautiful. I like the hue changes in the flesh and in here, and it's like there's a different reflection in the non-metallics, as you said.
So what's the instant
nice.
reaction from you guys for this one?
For this one, it's a gold for me. Maybe not perfect gold, but gold.
I think a gold,
Especially from this angle.
especially from this angle. Yes. I mean, what do you think, Dave? What's worrying you?
No,
Speak up.
nothing necessarily. I think it's a gold. I just wonder
What
what,
do you-
you guys were thinking. And when I
There-
compare it to this one,
This
especially,
one is just flat, right?
it stands out above.
This one?
Yeah. But I feel like my opinion isn't fair enough because I gave him a lot of
No.
advice.
The difference on this one is value contrast, right? You have a light point and then you have
Well,
dark point.
Yes, and
it's got focus.
Yeah.
that's that. So if this is such an area of
Yeah.
like warm focus,
turn
which
the
is
turn the cloak around. This is
Yeah.
dog shit.
no. Well, I know this part, and we have
So
you know
the
we've punished
downside-
other things
yeah,
for things
the downside
like this
of focus
underneath.
Okay, so this is not painted that well at all. But
But looking from underneath
So,
is...
but the,
I know, but
the
we
downside
have
of the
done that.
focus is you have to have areas that are not as strongly painted, or otherwise the focus doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. These two are an interesting comparison because
None.
this is
and
focus,
overboard.
this is no focus, but the technical painting on this I think is better than
Yeah.
this.
no,
Yeah.
I don't
The-
agree with that either.
this is like the fur over here is like.
Well,
brown
that
brush.
is a
You're making
that
me
is a
angry
weak
right
area.
now.
That is a weak area. But so are we then happy for this to have gold despite the fact that, as Trent said, is the
I
flip side of having an area of
think that
focus?
this, like,
I don't think it has to be, but
I think
It's
that's
definitely gold to
yeah.
me.
it's maybe a lower gold,
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
but this is silver, and I will fight you.
You can fight me. I'm bigger than you.
Yeah, but smaller ones, the flastier ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
So do you agree with me? And there is only one answer to that.
I'm starting to get persuaded. I mean, it's two. If it's 2 versus 1, there's nothing I can do.
2 versus 2, buddy.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I think
what
we
it-
just
where
need to line up the golds and silvers
Yeah,
after
yeah.
this, and then that will.
And then put this
We'll make a final decision once
I
there's...
think what we'll do is if you want to judge this one, what
Yeah.
we'll then do is we'll finish up the stream, and then we'll look at them from the front, and you can make your call,
Yeah, I think that's wise.
and then I can overrule.
If you look closely at this one, I've only just seen this earlier today. There's the micro texture is highly unusual compared to anything I've seen. Oh yeah, I'll
Sorry.
no, that's okay. You need to look really closely everywhere. It's very unusual style, painting style. I know who painted this, but this is brand new to me. I like the fact that nothing's been neglected.
This
around
is
the
a
back.
gold for me.
Can I have a look? I think that this is
everything's
the same
painted.
person that had the problem with gluing the previous one flat to the base.
It's not too bad. I think you can overlook it this time.
Yeah, I can. Okay, I think that it may be gold, yes. I just would like it more if the horns had the same kind of highlight as its face, because it would be like more consistent. But
I actually like the horns because I feel like they're a break from
Ancillary,
the
yeah.
all the like texture stuff. I feel like the horns are smooth and like a nice breather.
It
in
could,
like
it
a
could, it
breathing
could,
space.
It could be just a couple of lines on it that does
A little.
I
But
like these rainbow in the.
it's
in
very unusual. And if you look at the face, like under the nose, it's a very unusual way of painting.
But
and I like
it
that.
stands out to me
It's-
because of that. Yeah.
But also the metallics over here like are
Yeah.
very cute, right?
Yeah, yes. And the
think
arm
it's
is
gold.
very interesting too. Actually, the more you look, the more unusual and
It's one of
interesting
those
things you
pieces that
find.
you keep finding
Yeah.
more and more details.
And-
It's definitely
The
gold.
sheep has its name on its collar.
Yeah,
Allison.
and yeah, every element.
I
has
love
been
these like
treated.
little scuff marks on the
Yeah.
on the leather and then the lines. Not the leather.
Interesting and nice. I really like the verdigris on the true metallics on the helmet.
Okay, so gold.
Yeah.
Definite gold.
Awesome.
And we'll gold and a big argument coming.
Big argument coming off camera.
Should we? Is this the end of the stream?
It is.
Should we do like a?
quick wrap up?
Wrap up
you
or
guys can
something?
wrap up. Yep. Say thank you to all the viewers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone for watching us go through our judging ordeal again. I hope Natalia enjoyed coming to Australia to help judge our contest.
The level overall has been huge, I think, this year. Like, I think just going through all of that is
How do I
just
do that?
really quite amazing to me from being here every year and then seeing this year's level.
Yes, it's Dave's first time on
Being
this
a
side
judge,
of the desk.
I've
the
really
desk.
enjoyed myself being here, so
I think it's been extra difficult this year because the level has been so high that we've had to make some really even more and
Nearly 300.
nearly 300, and we've had to make some even tougher decisions than usual. And I like the different perspective Natalia's had on some of the judging. It's always we
always
normally
good.
have someone new every year, so
Yeah.
it's really nice to have a. It's really been fantastic, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time. And
Round of applause for the judges, everyone.
the last thing I was going to say is, of course, if you've been listening and we've been pulling apart your figures, we mean it's no personal attack or
we
disrespect.
have to be extra
It's-
harsh to try and figure out where they lie.
And every entry is, as I said at the start, every entry is just as important as the other. You know, that whether it wins a gold or wins no medal at all, they're all just as important for a competition like this to exist. So please keep entering. We love seeing all your figures, and I hope you'll forgive us.
See ya. Bye.